Every day I wake up.
Okay. Hello. Hello, Miss. Hello, Ethan. Yeah, I don't really know how I'm gonna do this today. Because today I just want to go over lore shit. In regards to the fucking event that's coming up. Oh, let me throw this fucking thing up there. Oh boy, gotcha homework. Yeah, I gotcha homework. Hell yeah. Oh, I can do the race video as well. Thank you for that reminding me, Ethan, because that's also kind of, it's not as important, but it's kind of fun. And also, I don't have that much to do, so like this is gonna be a short stream otherwise. Okay. Alright, let me browser. Why is this still? Yes. Okay. And let me just throw this on top of everything. Why is video capture device under the fucking overlay, bro? Yes. Next week off schedule is like you're streaming every day. If I look at the schedule again, let me check real quick. Because I think we go into next week, is what I'm seeing, is what I recall. Yeah, June 15th should be Monday, I think. 14th, what is the 14th? Yeah, we're going well into Wednesday. And by that, by that time, the event will probably be dropping. So it looks like next week we are not taking off. We're gonna keep going. I'm actually not sure when the event drops. I just know it's sometime within the next week, which usually on Thursdays, which means that's probably gonna overlap. That's fun. I mean, it's probably just good in general. I do want to stream more. Instead of like the one stream every like 2 weeks. That's not great. Alright, let's see. What do we start with? Do we start with the races? Do we start with the fucking dragons? Baronmoods? How much? Okay, so this is 20 minutes. This one has stat block. No, this one has stat blocks, which I think we can just skip through because I don't think it's very important, really. Sorry, excuse me. Really streaming? Yeah. And I want to do more NTE as well because I really like this game, that game mode, but that's gonna have to come some other fucking time. Like I'm not, no more. I'm probably gonna take a break after everything is settled and then go back into the thing. All right, I think we start with the races. Races, Fahrenheit, sweet sibling events. Yes, we'll do that. We'll do it that way. And this is Terrastorian, like, these are people who are significantly better at lore than I am, which is not saying a lot, honestly. Because I'm not very good at lore for this game. Alright, let's go.
Part 2, I guess this will be, where we shall be looking at the known races and threats on Terra in the Arknights universe. If you haven't seen Part 1, then do check out our first video. Anyway, let's begin with the races.
Part 1 isn't as relevant,
there are
just
many
because...
interesting and marvelous races on Terra.
Hang on, is this... Why is this 720, brother? What the hell?
However, it is important to make it clear that all races have differences. Some races are younger than others, some enjoy conflicts and wars, others want peace.
Oh wait, hang on, go back. This fucking guy.
Some enjoy conflict.
That's this. This is Dukariel. Alright, this is the progenitor vampire. Alright, he looks just like what's his face from the previous fucking from Enfield. It's so funny.
Conflicts and wars. Others want peace or to make an impact on the world. But interestingly, a vast majority of races aren't even native to Terra. These races can be categorized as ancients and elders races, or other races with Tzak heritage are the native races.
Okay, so these, now we know that these ancients and elders are animals that basically came over from Talos 2.
To make this easier, we shall break down the races in selections. Ancients, elders, Tzak, and others.
My chat is, hang on, my chat is in the same fucking window. Let me just move this out. Still good? We still good? Okay, let's go.
Interesting question that normally comes up within Arknights lore is, can an individual have a child with someone from a different race? If so,
3 native races sound really familiar. Oh yeah.
If 2 people from different races do have a child, they will either be one or the other race. A 50-50
also, I really love this particular, let me go back a bit. This fucking screen, because out of context, it's it's kind of funny to just have out of context.
If 2 people from different races do have a child, they will either be one or the other race.
Is sound okay, by the way? Because it's kind of quiet on my end, but that's just my volume control.
An example would be, if a feline or a libri had a child, it would be either a feline or a libri. It can't be a mixture of the 2. However, they will take traits of their parents, either hair color, eye color, for example. Ancient races are the largest category for races. They are also one of the 2 categories of races that aren't native to Terra. Our first race we shall speak about is the Aegir, based on aquatic creatures.
Fucking fish people. I find it so funny because you have like birds and cats and dogs and whatever, right? And then with the eager, it's literally just anything that comes out of the sea falls under this giant fucking umbrella of a class. Or a race, rather.
Others can be found on the mainland, such as Iberia or Higashi. The Aegir, though, are somewhat strangers to the races of the land. Aegir also have been in a long conflict with the Seaborn, a background threat that threatens to simulate the rest of the world.
Something else.
Though it seems that the Aegir are one of the reasons for the Seaborn to be pushed that way. A tale for another time. One outstanding thing about the Aegir is that they are unbelievably
She's kind of a bastard.
And stuck up. Since the Aegir have more advanced technology compared to any of the races on the land, they tend to look down on them and see themselves as superior. Probably one of the most popular and populated race is the felines. This race is based on cats and can be mainly found in Victoria. However, they can still be found all over Terra. There are overall 39 operators in Arknights that are playable who are felines. Aslans are thought to be a separate race to felines. However, this is not true. Aslans are felines that have self-appointed themselves to a more nobility race. However, they still do rule Sargon with power and eventually moving to Victoria and now fighting over the throne there against the Dracos. The Vori are based on wyverns or lesser dragons. This race can be found around in Sargon, where they potentially originated from and have ventured to Victoria. The Vori are known to have higher physical strength and endurance than most other races.
Oh yeah, they have horns too, so like, just because they have horns doesn't mean they're fucking sarcasm.
This race can mainly be found in Lefania, but also in the far north in Sami. You can find other Alephia.
God damn, when do we get
Victoria
designs? Oh, not that one.
There is also a potential subrace of Alephia that are based with traits from giraffes. With equine traits and features, Kuranta are based on horses and even zebras.
Hey, it's Uma Musume.
Kurantas are known to be born with fast running and stamina. A vast majority of Kurantas are born in Casimir, the land of the knights. And Kurantas, currently the only known race to have two elder race siblings, which we will get on to later. Lupo, the Wolves of Terra. This race is mainly found within Syracusa, but also can be found in other places such as Sargon and Victoria. Horn's family came from Sargon and ended up in Victoria.
Wait, I actually thought you were the cat for this entire time. What the hell?
Operators in Arknights of 35 operators.
Fucking birds, bro.
Liubri are
not even
based
real.
on birds. Most Liubri can be found in Colombia, Iberia, and a few in Laterano. Volpo, having similar traits to Lupo, and sometimes confused with Lupo, this race is actually based on foxes. Volpo can be found in Syracusa, Colombia, and Sami. Archosauria, having traits from crocodilians, they also have similar pointy ears to others
fucking
like
fluoride, bro. Look at her.
and Vivori.
Not even the
From
same
what
race,
we do
though.
know, majority of the males are anthropomorphic.
Yeah, sometimes they do that. I don't understand how that works. It's kind of funny.
This race comes from Sargon. Anura, a race based on frogs.
Christ.
This race came from Sargon. Across some parts of Terra, including Iberia, where they are treated roughly and used as experiments. We only know of one Anura, and that is Blue Poison, who is based on the Blue Poison dart frog. A race we don't know much about is the Manticore, and despite being based on a mythical creature, this race can be found in small parts of Sargon, and are rare, or they just want to keep away from other races. Caprinae, one of the common races found in Lefania. The Caprinae have treats from goats and sheep. Cultus, the rabbit and the hare race, mainly found and born in Rembiliton.
This is Australia.
Ceratow
Rembiliton is
based on
Australia.
rhinos, with the classic rhino-like horn on their forehead. We know of one Ceratow, and that is Bubbles. If felines are the cat people of Terra, then the Pero are the dog people of Terra. This race can mainly be found.
Wait, it's so funny because this fucking guy,
dog people of Terra.
this blonde guy, Star Rails had a altar for adventuring that looks exactly like him. It's so fucking funny.
This race can mainly be found in Bolivar. Petram are similar to Anura. There is currently one known character in the game, but Petram are based on tortoises and turtles. Not much is known about this race, other than there are small Petram settlements around Terra that house excellent or great craftsmen. However, we do know more about the next race, which is the Pythia, based on serpents and having snake-like tails and pointy ears to other races. Pythia, like snakes of the real world, have acute and delicate senses. Pythia are a rare or at least uncommon race. Despite this, they can be found all over Terra. The Forte race have traits from bovines and camelids. The Forte are the main inhabitants of Minos.
Minos, we know that place. We've seen that. Hello, Alte. How are you? Welcome, welcome. We're just doing some Arknights lore.
And that's all we know about.
Because there's an event coming up.
Anate are a race based on otters, weasels, and raccoons. Rubber are based on hyenas. Nothing much is known other than they come from Sargon. Savara are a race based on lizards and some amphibians like salamanders. The land of Ursus, like we mentioned, was named after this bear-like race called the Ursus. The Zalak are based on rodents including rats, mice, and squirrels.
Oh, his fucking granddaughter, this rat man, is really fucking hot. It's great. I need new Chen, yeah. I mean, hey, one more week, man.
Can also be found all over Terra and known to have acute senses. Hailing from beyond Terra, the Elder Races, once mighty rulers who overshadowed their ancient brethren in power, held dominion over the nations. However, their numbers have dwindled, leaving only a handful of nations under their rule. Their forms bear resemblance to mythical creatures of our own world. Draco, with traits based on European dragons.
God, why is the PNG so low res, bro?
Over fire manipulation.
The curse of a first-gen operator.
Increased vitality and strength. Dracos became rulers of Victoria and Tara, a piece of land that became a part of Victoria. Eventually, getting in conflict with the self-appointed Aslans.
Why are birds lumped into one whole race? They just do that. They just fucking do that. I mean, it's the same with the Aegir. It's the same, I guess, with, I guess dogs are technically all the same species, aren't they? Even if they look fucking different. 2 copies of Kafka? Oh, bro. Hey, Sleep Nice. Did you get, TT? That's sleep? Hell yeah, bro.
Over the years, the Dracos have become rarer and potentially extinct. We only know of 3 Dracos in Arknights: Reed, her sister Eblana, and Tallulah.
Okay.
Reed,
we're not gonna get to this anytime soon, so I feel fine spoiling it. She's fucking dead. She is a necromancer. She necromanced herself. She's fucking dead.
Eblana and Tallulah. Hippogriff Libri. This elder race of Libri.
TT scamming, no. Damn, bro. Hey, this is literally Pog from Enfield. It's just the previous iteration of him. I don't know why they made him young. I feel like he looks cooler old.
However, like
110 pulls and nothing. Isn't it just 10 more to pity though? Because it's 120 pity, right?
And the Ursus rebelled. While they already are dethroned, they have kept their nobility status and known to have longer.
Like I would have just gone for the 10 at that point, shit.
Kitsune. This elder race, based on the 19th.
Oh shit, it's suzerain. Or like
Higashi. They are said to be religious leaders and have some sort of connection to the founding of the nation. Kukulkan, based on the Mayan plumed serpent, and an elder race. However, after the loss of their abilities, now they practice an odd ritual.
Oh, I want to play Bone Trail. Holy shit! After we get through this Hell Week, I do want to go through Bone Trail because that is a fantastic story.
One thing about this race is that we don't know if they are categorized as an elder Pythia or an elder Libri.
Oh really? I never knew that. That's great. Well, at least the
China is an elder race.
Count carries over at least, right? For standard banners.
Leishi is the only known member of this race so far. While Dracos are the dragons of the west, the Lungs are the dragons from the east.
Hey, look at Shen.
Lungs are found in Yan.
That's crazy.
One of the main ruling races of Yan. The Emperor is a Lung, and the ruling family of Lungs are often known as the true Lung. Chen's uncle Wei is, in fact, the older twin brother of the Emperor of Yan. Nightmorza Kurunta, one of the 2 Kurunta elder races. This elder race of Kurunta once struck fear into the people's hearts of Terra, and led a conquest across Terra, from around the north of Terra to Sargon and
Never noticed this guy has the fucking Thanos glove. That's funny.
the north again, where they are hardly seen again. However, there are small clans around in the north potentially.
Damn, they're into you.
In Sargon.
That's just a full fucking free. They have those, yes.
Which is seen in Dutch, German, Norse, and English folklores and stories. The Nightmawser are known to have a racial gift to use illusion arts. Despite this, they seem to have a sense and culture over honor and glory. Pegasus Kuranta is one of the
Zargas
races
versus
that
Kagon
stood
was
up
a
against
peak.
their sibling
Man, my
of the
IS5
Nightmawser
is
and
so shit.
protected their homeland Casimir.
I've been running
Pegasus
IS.
Kuranta are
Wait,
based on
5.
the
Wait, hang on.
mythological
5 is
Pegasus.
yeah. No.
Pegasus Kuranta still
IS4.
hold
I've lost
strong
track of which is which.
respect and force within
The
clan,
sarcasm ones.
but slowly their authority has dwindled.
I've only been doing the
over
first ending for
after
that
holding back the
because
Nightmawser.
it's easy.
This elder race is famous for its control over light and illumination art. Pegasus Kuranta also seem to share a same trait of light-colored hair, such as white.
Okay, these two have icons for the My Little Pony collab. She has the skin. This guy as a My Little Pony avatar is the funniest shit.
Blonde, and gold. Other potential elder races we may have are an elder race of Rabar, the Tula family, another elder race of Kuranta, the Unicorn Kuranta,
She's immortal.
an elder race of Pero, the Cerberus Pero.
Strongest in lore-wise because they're destroying portals in the Far East. All land becomes just desert. But the Nightmawser? I didn't fucking know that. Shit.
One of the native races.
Because he said it wrong twice now. Come on,
Eventually,
man.
they took the name the Sarkaz after losing their home in a war against the foreign races. However, there are many different Sarkaz subraces, as well as sibling races, which we shall get into now. The normal Sarkaz are known as Sarkaz. Unlike the ancient Sarkaz subraces, normal Sarkaz are often seen as mixed blood Sarkaz, or not pure-blooded as they were back in ancient Terra. Banshee Sarkaz are unique, as they are a majority in all.
Wow, they don't even show logos here. God damn, bro.
Of Sarkaz. However, there are male
There he
Banshee
is.
Sarkaz, but they are rare. We only know of one male Banshee, and that is Logos, who happens to be the heir to the Banshee Sarkaz throne.
Look at this fucking twink.
Banshee Sarkaz have a manipulation of vocal and sound arts. And
Bryce Desert, that
connection
bar
with
was
death,
like, Jesus.
often seen
I didn't know the
as
Nightmawser were
guardians of
that
death.
strong. Fuck.
Cyclops Sarkaz live in the northern nation on Terra.
I don't know if anyone remembers, but at the beginning of Enfield, we actually see a Cyclops Sarkaz in the dream sequence.
Sunny. Here they live away from their violent relatives. Cyclopses moved to Sami after the Cyclops Lord of Fiends was murdered by other Sarkaz. Cyclopses have the ability to see into the future, or have visions to see what may come. It is said that these visions can be pretty accurate. Cyclopses are one of the two Sarkaz subraces that deal with the dangers of the Collapsals. Damasty isn't an entire subrace, but an ancient Sarkaz with the ability to shapeshift and multiply itself into more individuals.
The nasty
Diablo
cluster.
Sarkaz are said to be one of the most powerful Sarkaz subraces, with the ability of strong fire arts. However, this subrace is said to be extinct.
Oh,
With
wait, that's
few
Ifrit, right?
pieces of Diablo shards left, one shard was fused with Ifrit, a Suvra, now merged with such a shard, giving her traits and abilities of the fiery ancient subrace. We
With the asses of Collapsals and Demons on the far north. God, the Nightmawers are kind of badasses. What the fuck?
recently found out about Jarl Sarkaz.
Jaw.
And sometimes
Oh, the new
known
character
as
coming is a
Dark
Jaw.
or Mind Sarkaz. Jarl Sarkaz have a unique art, which is
I think they're
to do with
based on
heart,
succubi,
mind,
right?
and emotions. Similar to their vampire relatives, they have to control their hunger, but for emotions instead of blood. Unlike vampires, however, they do have more control or found other ways to get over this. A vast majority of Jarl don't even live in Castel. This is because Jarl are very sensitive to emotions, especially negative
Oh, yeah.
ones. The leader of the Jarl is known as the Archliar. Currently, we don't know if they have an Archliar at this moment. We currently know of two Jarl, Nymph and her sister working as Rhode Island's HR director, who is clouded in mystery. Gargoyles. said to be one of the most ancient of all Sarkaz subraces. This subrace of Sarkaz has control over soil, stone and earth, often called the children of the soil and the stone. They have earth arts manipulation and even said to have conversations or talks with the earth and the soil. Unlike the rest of the Sarkaz subraces, the Goliath
I forgot Oda exists, I'm not gonna lie to you.
Royal Kazdel court, and unknown if they have a leader or not. But majority of the Sarkaz enemies we do see are apparently Goliaths. Liches are the bookworms of the Sarkaz, very powerful bookworms at that, with the ability to manipulate space and dimensions.
This guy is such a giant fucking bitch in a fight, because you can just dog walk him with CC, and he just never does anything. It's so funny.
To a vast degree.
And distinguished from other horn. Yeah, yeah, you're gonna see a lot of that. When is she gonna be playable, bro?
Is that a bluff or not? We don't know. But if true, an amazing.
Like some of these races are mainly just ability. The difference is mainly in ability than appearance.
Completely immortal, unlike their other fantasy counterparts. They store their souls or life in their
man, this stuff is so annoying. No, man, you see, he used Tragodia, and then he just can't do anything. He just walks around doing nothing. It's great. Just borrow Tragodia, bro.
This subrace isn't technically born, but more created, as the Sarkaz will put their body and soul in the soul furnaces of Kazdel.
Yeah, yes, I mentioned this before.
Nazira are based on ghouls. This subrace of Sarkaz.
This is Last Right. This is Last Right's race. I don't know what the fuck happened. We had a little bit of a downgrade. It's fine.
The strongest ones on Terra. One of the reasons for their strength comes from their deep cultural aspects of cannibalism and eating their enemies. In return, they gain increased strength and power, as well as memories and abilities of those that they have ate. The stronger Nazira often let the weaker ones take a bite out of their body, so they basically gain power-ups. Nazira King happens to be one of the
Look at this fucking guy, man. Look at that aura. And then we have Last Right, and it's nothing like that.
Old, potentially older, as he was around with the first Sarkaz. He is often known as the War Incarnate, due to the Nazira becoming far more powerful in wars, due to
look at these guys.
And powering themselves up. Like the vampire myths of our world, vampire Sarkaz are blood.
What happened, man?
They feed on blood.
You have Dekariel over here, and you have these fucking.
Similar to the Nazira, they have an ability to empower others with blood blessings. Vampire Sarkaz have a thirst for blood, which is a hunger they have to control, making them very fearful, even to other Sarkaz. The Wendigos are a subrace of Sarkaz that are.
His statue actually shows up in the opening. Yeah, they do, right? I don't know, they look so fucking sick. I kind of wish Last Right had more of that influence.
However, there are still Wendigo Sarkaz in the north of Ursus.
But they're not purebloods. Who the fucking cares?
The threat of the collapsals. Just like the Naz.
I guess the cannibal faction is mostly NPCs, which is why their designs, yes. Yeah. I don't think in the OG game, I don't believe we actually have any playable Naxxas. I might be forgetting somebody, but I'm pretty sure we don't have any playables.
Zera. The Wendigo are one of the physically strongest and have cannibalism deep in their culture.
Yeah, we just eat people, bro. It's okay.
Sarkaz subraces in the future. Now we move on to Sarkaz sibling races. First being the Anasa. This race separated from the Sarkaz.
God, I wish she was better. She's so dog shit.
Themselves from more wars and difficult relatives. While they kept some Sarkaz culture, overall their culture has changed. While we still don't know much about them, they do live in the wilds of Yan in tribes. Oni, a group of Sarkaz that broke away from Kazdel after the Sarkaz Lord of Fiends
yes, for Anasas.
They moved to where Higashi is now and became the Oni, resembling some parts
Li Feng is an Anasa actually, from Enfield.
Sancta, despite their angelic appearance, this race belongs
to fucking Santa Claus, bro.
Family. However, unlike the Anasa or Oni, who diverged from the Sarkaz heritage, they were Sarkaz that accepted a forced evolution or change by an outside power.
Oh yeah, okay, so it's kind of the opposite of Christianity in this case, where instead of falling from grace as angels to demons, the Sarkaz were basically lifted up by the law into angels, essentially, or the Sancta were lifted up into from Zarkaz.
Gaining like
Ultimate Toymar, we are coping so hard on that, aren't we? Isn't that crazy?
This race has been in a grudging
He has giant holding pill. Yeah. Oh yeah, they like guns too. It's so fun. It's so fucking funny.
Sancta are also a thing, which is a Sancta that has broken the rules of the law and start to grow horns or regain horns. Now
I wish Mostimo was better. She looks so fucking cool. Yo, another article. How is she going? Yeah. Oh, she looks cool, man. I like her.
These entities are talking animals that have been around Terra for countless eras. Some of them show peculiar abilities such as immortality or teleportation.
Oh man, they're all immortal.
Supposedly, most races in Terra have their own Beast Lord representative, but only a handful have ever been shown so far. Buramans. This is a race.
Okay, this is the part that's actually important to the event.
Or entities.
Realistically rendered cartoon animal is scary. Yeah, just like the mule from Thing, right? Ember Sancta. She doesn't have a gun and she doesn't have wings, which is very strange. I don't know. I'm assuming they'll give us something on that.
These beings aren't from Terra, but also unsure when they arrived in the world. There are many
Pheromones are native
around the world, and we only know of a few. Sami is a Pheromont. Kajaraganda, the protector of Kajarag, the Lifebone, seen in episode
13, that was actually mentioned in
dead,
what's his face's weapon thing.
It's noted that they can be killed, but they don't truly die. Another Pheromont we know is Surtur, not to be confused with Sarkaz Surtur. This
the Pheromont in her
is a
fucking
rival to Sami. Operators like Ling, Dusk, and their siblings are all fragments of the Pheromont known as Sui.
Sui.
Elf. Similar to other fantasy elves, they
look, it's Momo.
Pointed
I like her a lot, she's fun.
Despite that they may have a long-lived lives, they are very weak to Originium and Oripathy. Unlike other races, they are very susceptible.
Actually, important race gets hit with enemy. No, no. Fucking hell, bro. Nah.
This makes elves very rare, but there are some found in some.
It's just important in the context of what we're reviewing for, essentially.
Durin, like the dwarves of mythology and other fantasy.
The fucking hobbits are the same race as the Sarkaz. They just went underground and became short.
This small subterranean race lives in the underground nation of Durin. Despite their size, these little ones are excellent miners, crafters, geologists, and very heavy drinkers. Durins are a fairly peaceful race, as they live in an underground utopia compared to the other races above. However, some brave or adventurous or even bored Durin will adventure above ground.
Doors. They're talking. Yes. 100%. Yes.
Is you. Yes, you, the Doctor.
Or something
the Doctor
else.
belongs to a race known as the First Civilization. Another.
Oh, look, it's Priestess.
Race that arrived on Terra.
What a nice looking girl, right? Nothing wrong could happen there.
You could say that they used Terra as an experimental ground, while also planning to protect civilization from a certain threat. Unfortunately, this civilization may be responsible for the majority of the greatest threats on Terra. This race faced a great threat from beyond, leaving you, the Doctor, the last known surviving person of its kind on Terra. It is unknown if
how old is the MC? Old.
Trevor Friston is one of the Doctor's race.
Because okay, so they landed on Terra 16,000 or 13,000 years ago, something like that. I think. Something in that range. But they had been starfaring for a lot longer prior, so who fucking knows is the answer.
Prior to him becoming a preserver, we may know of one more, and that is Priestess. However, we don't know if this individual has good or bad intentions.
This is an old video, so
there are many hidden dangers and threats.
We know her intentions now.
Out of the supercontinent of Terra, lurking in the sea or even the stars. If not handled carefully, it might result in the end of Terra. Here, in this section, we will discuss most.
Oh, I didn't know they get into the threats as well. So both Terra and Telos 2 are terraformed planets. Yes, essentially yes. Because the predecessors came to Terra and basically used Originium to fuck it up, and then we went to Telos 2 a couple thousand years later and used Originium to make it better.
They are one of the growing threats in Terra. As their name suggests, they came from the deep ocean, plaguing the nations of Aegir underwater and Iberia on land. Their evolutionary rates are extremely fast, enabling them to adapt to all sorts of things and simulate everything
As is
around
tradition.
them.
I don't know if he'll
Their
mention it, but okay. So just for context, right? So these Seaborn, so they mentioned the Farenmut before, the gods of Terra, right? These Seaborn are the result of us, the Doctor and Priestess, or I guess our race rather, taking those Farenmuts, doing experiments on them, and it kind of just results in this fucking thing.
A hive mind. A cult known as the Church of the Deep are supporting the spread of the Seaborn. Collapsals. They are best described as extra-dimensional entities originating from an unknown dimension. They are referred to as demons by other Terrans and possess an ability to corrupt other beings. Collapsals originated from two different places. A mystery gate in the Infinite Ice Fields.
This is where how we get to Talos. And that the one in the Hotlands is destroyed.
Hence why any form of knowledge about them is
destroy the space star spot in it. Yeah. That whole Kerula Arbor story is kind of crazy, isn't it?
Godlike being. It is shrouded in mystery, and terror is currently hidden.
Human race calling aliens even, yeah, actually.
The only thing we do know...
What I have heard is that a lot of the Arknights lore is very heavily inspired by Warhammer, which is why you'll have like parallels between the Seaborn and the Tyranids, and like alien demons and shit.
There's a reason that the first civilization has gone from Terra, and that they had to build a fake sky to hide Terra from its sight. Another thing we do know...
We're not even sure the star pod actually fucking works, I'm not gonna lie. It's just, we just haven't been fucked yet as well.
You like it or not. And that is where we come to the end of the video. I hope you enjoyed this video and found it helpful.
Wait, this was fun, I like this. Like, I haven't actually gone through these lore videos just because I generally know stuff, but it's kind of fun having all the info collated. Witch King's like Emperor from... Yeah, the Witch King is basically Emperor. He's gone and fucked himself over in the void. It's great. Okay. Next we do Farenmuts, I guess, since that is more closely...
Gods. There are a lot of different ways
Bionic Factory. It's a different creator.
All-powerful beings, unknowable cosmic entities who allow our existence simply because we fall beneath their notice. Benevolent creatures with power beyond our understanding. Not so benevolent creatures with powers beyond our understanding. A fiction we tell ourselves in order to make some sense of the universe, so that we may sleep at night without fear of the cosmic unimportance we represent. There are many different ways fiction has
3 jumps are actually, yeah.
And of course, Arknights is no exception. That is where the Farenmut come into the picture. Arknights is living gods. Beings of immense power that no mere mortal can hope to match. Beings of immense power that only the most powerful of Sarkas can hope to match. Already, the divinity of these gods is being called into question, so we should probably start talking about them in some actual detail. Despite my little joke earlier, the Farenmut are among the most powerful beings within the world of Arknights, having existed on Terra since before the Doctor's race reached it, 13,000 years before the beginning of the game.
Okay.
The Farenmut existed in far greater numbers before, but at some point, seemingly long before the arrival of the Doctor's race, even before Terra had properly formed, the Farenmut
kind of funny.
with an eye which broke the heavens. We know practically nothing about this war, as it was only mentioned by Ya during a battle with Chang'e. But
Godzilla, Godzilla, man.
Reshaping Terra itself may be the event that caused the creation of the Star Pod, although that would place it after the arrival of the Doctor's race. It might literally be a throwaway line in Vernal Winds, but this war in heaven is genuinely fascinating to me. And
yeah, like I said, lots of Warhammer inspirations.
Why so little Farenmut remain today. So what actually are the Farenmut?
I actually have one of these.
Well, the short answer is we don't really know. They are described as gods.
Oh my god, look, it's lame.
If not gods, they are godlike beings. We don't know whether they reproduce. We don't know whether they just pop into existence.
Jump is scaring me with other IPs.
But we do know that
I've never seen this guy's videos before, so I don't actually know how much of that there's going to be.
They don't require worship to exist, but they do seem to be tied to specific areas. At least some of them. So potentially they are a form of earth spirit or something similar, a nature spirit, an embodiment of a part of Terra. But just because we don't know exactly what they are doesn't mean we can't discuss them. The in-universe term Farenmut comes from the lands of Sargon, and for the most part has been adopted all over Terra by those who know
why do
of
we let
these
Sargon
creatures'
even exist at this
existence.
point? They
And
just keep
if they are
giving us
not known by the
troubles.
term firmament, they are mostly just referred to as gods by those who worship them. See the people of Kereg as an example of that with Keragander. The gods themselves vary wildly in shape and size, where seemingly the only common
Bro, this
point of
fucking plush is like
comparison is the
$300.
great power they hold.
It's so
From
sad.
being
I
able
really
to wipe
wanted
out
it.
entire armies of men, to preventing catastrophes from affecting a region, to controlling space and time, the power held by the firmament is undeniable. Even when shattered into fragments of
Oh my
themselves,
god, Nyan.
they retain enough strength for each fragment to be at worst comparable to some of the greatest fighters on Terra. The most prominent of the firmament to us Arknights readers is Sui, and they are very clearly based on Chinese dragons. So, firmament are essentially representations of mythological beings from our world. They also don't play by the typical rules of the Arknights world. The power they possess is distinctly different from Originium Earths,
She's
and
not
they are
even a paranoid.
outright immune.
Oh,
to
actually,
horrific.
Cascade might be.
It's still
Yeah,
not
yeah.
clear why that
Deathless Snake is.
but it's likely due to the nature of firmaments being distinctly more than just a biological species. After all, they might not be
On Chinese
omnipotent
dragons,
gods,
yeah.
but they are still far
They are
closer
based,
to
though.
gods than anything else on Terra. And as such, firmaments are effectively immortal. They can be killed, yes, or shattered into fragments, but even then, they are still able to potentially revive, and their soul seems to endure long past the destruction of their body. These souls have even been used by the Sorkas as power sources for their weapons. Most notably is Mostime's lock and key staves. The power of each firmament is seemingly tied to the area in which they reside, with a common power between them being the manipulation of the weather and the land around where they reside. Many firmaments are often parts of the environment that they call home, with the two most obvious examples of this being Keraganda, who is often described as the Valley Mountain, worshipped by her people, and of course the firmament Sami, who is quite literally the ground the Sami people worship and live upon. But being limited to one area is not something that you should use to call them weak. For the most part, these beings have absolute dominion over their home, being able to perform feats far beyond mortal comprehension. But not even the gods are invincible, and nowhere proves that better than the Great Hunt of Yan. One of the old emperors of Yan organized this great hunt
First
against
emperor,
the gods, as they did not place their favor behind the people of Yan and deprived the land of their protection. And even by themselves, they might have succeeded, with millions of casualties.
Yeah, essentially
but
territorial gods,
a
yeah.
win is a win. However, the great hunt was aided by the Faranmut Sui, who threw their might behind this emperor in order to aid in killing off its competition, killing most of the firmament within Yan and exiling the survivors. And thus, the foundation of the Sui sibling story was set, and that's pretty much the foundation for firmament lore in general. So we should probably give some focus to the notable Faranmut, and by that I of course mean the Faranmut that have actually been mentioned or focused on with some actual meat to them, although we will mention the ones with less focus just for completeness sakes. Starting off with the most obvious choice, Sui, pretty much the firmament we know simultaneously the most and least about. We know
Evil Chunk from ED5 is, I say, was possessed with of all fairness. Yeah. I don't know if we even had that on our side yet or not, but I haven't played through that. The only endings I've gotten are the first two, because the others are fucking hard, man.
very little about the Faranmut itself, but considering that we follow the story of its fragments, we have a lot of knowledge about it in that regard. Of the 12 fragments of Sui, we currently have knowledge of around 8 of them. Nian, Dusk, Ling, Chongye, Shu, Wang, and 2
Oh, Wang got a
Gs.
fucking
And
upgrade,
there's a
holy
9th
shit.
one if you do
And it's
include
playable.
the Chef brother. We literally only know about him from one Nian Vice line, but they do exist. A video could probably be dedicated
right.
to each of the playable siblings.
So each of the siblings are based on a craft, I suppose, in traditional Chinese culture. So they all kind of have their own little thing. We have 11 to 12 now.
Is supposedly the final villain that the Sui events are
One is
building
dead.
up to, so I'm sure as time goes on,
One
we'll
is
have
dead,
way
so
more knowledge
technically
about the
we know
siblings
of
and
10 of
Sui
them.
itself.
We
Nian
still
is
don't
my
know
favorite, by
the
way,
cook one,
and
or
I
not
hope
the
to
cook
one
one,
day
the
actually have her on my account. But Chong-Ye
There's one,
definitely
the
has
Doctor
my
one.
favorite event.
We don't know the Doctor one yet.
Vernal Winds is fantastic.
G is dead, yeah,
and
G
we
is
should read
dead.
it now while it is rerunning. We should probably focus on the Fernmud itself, and we have already mentioned quite a bit about it in the general lore section. Sui was a Fernmud of Yan, and when the Great Hunt occurred, it joined the people of Yan against the other members of its kind. For noble and kind reasons, I'm sure. Well, not exactly. Sui had intended to make itself the only god of Yan. So the final hunt of this Great Hunt period was for Sui itself. And it was subjugated by the Emperor of Yan and forced
Kind of funny,
to
we
shatter
kill
itself into
the god, but we
12
still use it
fragments.
as
These
their,
fragments would,
like,
of course,
icon,
eventually become
like
the
their
Sui
symbol for their
siblings.
country.
And despite being fragments of this god, none of them really understand the intentions of their original self, with all of them either being afraid of becoming it again, or actively working to prevent or ensure it comes back into existence. The story of Sui is far from over, so only time will tell if this god will return to Terra, or if the glimpse that we saw.
No, man, we have
Invitation to
Enfield
One
now. We know what
is the
happens.
last time it will appear
They
on
succeed.
Terra in any form.
They make a new
Next up
fucking
is
proxy
the
somehow.
Fernmud that resides in the winter wonderland of Kerag, Keragander. She is known by many names, including the Sacred One, the Mother of Kerag, and the Goddess of the Snow Realm. Keragander very much lives up to her titles as the Mother of Kerag. Thousands of years ago, Keragander led the people of what would
So
become
popular, yeah,
Kerag
yeah.
to the
Yan
mountains
is probably
and
one of the
would
more
protect her
successful
people
countries.
from all forms of natural disasters, including catastrophes. As such, the people of Kerag grew up without truly fearing the infected, as very little of them became infected outside of those in mining accidents. In Kerag myth, after this, Keragander would ascend to the heavens, where she would look down upon her people with love, as they formed Kerag into what it would become today. In reality, Keragander had other ideas, and decided that she would continue to aid her people, just in a different form than before. Keragander took the form of our beloved Ice Maid, Kjör, and would serve as the assistant of the saintess of her very own religion. A very interesting strategy, but a seemingly effective one for keeping in touch with her people. And for the most part, she has a rather hands-off approach.
I have
to
not
leading
played
her
this event. I've
followers.
heard it was
On
very
one hand,
good.
she's very happy that people are still worshipping
And
her.
Silver Ash
On the
gets his
other
ass
hand,
beat, which
she's
is
rather
great.
disappointed by her followers' strict adherence to her religion prior to the events of Break the Ice. She is currently serving as the maid to Enya Silverash, also known as Paramanix, and Kjör is working with her to bring Kerag into the modern age. During the events of Break the Ice, she aided Rhodes Island in their efforts to avert a complete civil war in Kerag, and at the end of the event, she threw some divine intervention behind Enya in order to resolve the conflict before it completely broke out into a full-on civil war. In the Lake Silbernerhose event, she mostly remains passive, not being too active or throwing her divine intervention around to resolve the conflict. She is mostly just there to complain about the 30-meter tall statue that the people of Kerag built in her honor. Pretty much
Where Teddy
because
got his
it
ass
doesn't
beat and
really
he's like,
resemble
yeah,
her that
yeah,
much,
he did.
and she's rather annoyed
Civil,
by
we
that.
love Civil
She even
Wars, bro. They
uses
just keep fucking
dating
happening.
nurture for a bit of remodeling work to trim it down to size. She also decides to mess with the Trilby Asher in order to prevent him from investigating the statue.
Bro, the
of
NPCs have
Keragander
such
too
cool
closely.
fucking
She does this
designs.
by
Why don't we get that in
teleporting
Enfield?
from
Fucking
the
hell.
center of the lake where the statue is built back to outside the boundaries of the lake, painting a pretty clear picture for the Trilby Asher that she is not one to be trifled with. Her story isn't the main focus of the Kerag storyline, but I am sure we'll see plenty more of her as a part of it. Next up on our list of notable Fernments is one whose name isn't exactly clear, but we shall be referring to them as Lifebone, as that is what they are referred to as during the events of Chapter 13. This Fernmut is dead, physically at least, but there is still some life left in their bones. This Fernmut was even speaking to Calcet during the events of Lone Trail, although that was a projection to her by Friston, but she must have had some connection to the Fernmut at some point during her life in order for this projection to have been made. Lifebone unfortunately ran afoul of the Sanguinoke at some point during their life. And
This
just
fucking
that
guy again.
unfortunate meeting would
This
wind
fucking
up
guy.
dead, at least physically. Despite this very much physical death, their spirit has endured. And
Shinku
the Soul Council
twice?
were able to take its power
Jesus,
over
bro,
space and
what
time
the hell?
and seal them away into a set of staves, a lock and a key. This lock and key would eventually find their way into the hands of a sanctum.
He literally
Musty
has
man,
fucking
who, after
time stop
finding them,
powers.
would become a fallen
And she
angel
sucks
and
as an
carry them
operator.
with her as her primary weapon.
Give her a
She
goddamn
became a fallen
buff, holy
angel
shit.
Due to entirely separate reasons, kinda, but you know, it's kinda ironic that she gets the power of a god and becomes a fallen angel. Despite being dead, the Sanguinoke was able to perform a ritual on the bones of Lifebone to turn them into a transportation system for the
Yeah, they
Sokas
turned it
during
into a
their
fucking
occupation
car,
of
and now
Dimir.
Wizardel
This
uses
not
it.
only gave them an incredible system of travel, they could keep themselves supplied and move large amounts of troops around without alerting the Victorian troops.
How scary, unlike Char Camille, yeah. Like, they're fighting, and fucking Dicariel's in the void being like, why the fuck are these people my descendants?
In order to disable the system. And after a tough battle against him, Holdra manages to
Here,
take
the budget
control
for
of the
Enfield
creature
has
and is presumably
decreased
going to use
severely.
it to further their
This
own
is a video.
goals
This is a video. We're doing some
occupation.
React Slap. We're
Lyko
learning
is
about
a
Arknights
pretty
because
interesting
event
fellow,
coming.
Although considering they're dead, it's tough to know how active they will be in the future and whether we'll learn much more about them. Sami shares a name with the country in which it resides. Called
The
All-Father
tooth
or
of
the
Sami
One
is
of
what they
Sami
use to
by the
make
people of Sami. This phoneme
Seska.
is quite literally
Stop.
the ground that the Sami call home. Due to this, it is by far the largest phoneme.
The dead teleport.
we
Yes,
actually
this is the
know
dead.
of. Many
It's not teleport. It's a
incredible
flying
supernatural
wheel.
occurrences that occur in the land of Sami, like
yes.
moving trees or moving mountains, are in fact the work of this great Faramut. The All-Father is worshipped not just due to being a god,
Sound
but due
Tower,
to the
she's so
fact
bad, bro.
that the snow priests and the shamans of Sami can get direct divine inspiration due to this worship. A being of extreme benevolence. Once Sami has accepted you into the country, it shall aid you. But should you break or defy the will of Sami, you will not only be abandoned by a god, you will be punished. Presumably at one point, Sami roamed the lands of Terra, like the other Phonomuts. But at some point in history, Sami was injured to the point where it had to retreat underground to recover. Now, thousands of years later, the
Yeah, it got in a fight with
constant
Surtur.
battle with the demons.
That's what fucking happened.
Its own body is being corrupted by these demons on a constant basis, but it fights back. With the help of its followers, the steady tide of corruption is being
It's like prologue for
halted or
IS4.
pushed back.
I have not.
But it is
I
overall
haven't gone through any of the
battle,
Sami
and a more
stories like at all.
resolution will need to be brought
Which I need to catch up on so
eventually.
much shit,
The
bro.
first ending of Integrated Strategies 4 shows us the process of being accepted by Sami. In this case, following Magellan's adventures.
That's right, Magellan's in this
and her
fucking
further
IS. I
explorations
forgot about
into
that.
the heartland of Sami, the Phonoman
Also, I hate
reaches
the
out.
mechanic
In
for
her case,
IS4.
it
It's so
questions
annoying.
Magellan's intentions before accepting her into his fold. And following that moment, Magellan's journey in Sami now had the backing of its god. And that backing
Oh,
would
look,
prove to be
there
of
it
great
is.
help during
There's
her
the fucking
journey's
Stargate.
culmination at the gate in the heart of Sami's ice fields. Ya is a Firmament who survived the Great Hunt. And
These fucking
returns
cuts,
to
bro.
Yan in order to get revenge on the Firmament who betrayed their kind. Sweet. Ya was greatly injured during this great hunt, and despite
He
having
reminds
rested for
me of
centuries,
that
has been
that meme
unable
of
to
Miyabi
recover,
from
and
ZZZ
is
where they just make her
actually
ears
dying during
massive.
her appearance in the Vernal Winds event. Despite that, she is an immensely powerful creature. being
Showing
able to
Isekai
take on
into Arknights,
multiple
yeah,
strong
actually, though, what the hell,
opponents
bro?
without breaking a sweat. Ya is an extremely arrogant person, viewing the mortal inhabitants of
Yeah,
Terra
so
as
called.
beneath her, and hating that they have usurped the rule of the Phonomuts. Despite that, she reserves her largest grudge for Sui, holding
sure it's
its
a he,
betrayal
bro.
of the Phonomuts as
I'm
a
actually not
sin
sure.
that must be punished. And
Straight
in order
PNGs
to
are kinda- it's
ensure
Arknights,
that
bro.
both goals are achieved, she forms
The
a
thing
group
about
of
having PNGs is that you can go
Phonomuts
really
to aid
crazy with
in
the designs,
destabilizing Yan.
which I really
So,
appreciate.
despite viewing mortals as
Like,
lesser
god
beings,
damn it.
she's not above
Arknights
putting them to
designs
work
have so
to
much
further her
sauce.
own goals. Ya is the one who
One
can
hates the
cut
cold,
away
yeah.
seasons and hold them at its bosom. This title, given to her by the Sui regulators, lets us know about her power, the ability to alter the very seasons themselves. This power allows her to mostly avoid damage from those who do not understand its principles. Although, when faced by someone like Chong-Ye,
Do it.
it is relatively easy to overcome. She can also open up her own pocket dimension, where she faces off with Chong-Ye. Seemingly, this increases the strength of her ability, but it's not enough when faced with a Kung Fu master like him. She is, despite having an absolute banger design, currently unplayable, but I hope one day Hippogriff will add to her lore.
We are
and
not
make her
getting a
playable
full Farron
for
that's
me.
playable. It's
Moving
not
into the lesser
happening.
known Phonomuts, and we're going to start
Big
with
Chong showed him some kung
yes,
fu.
the Red Woman.
Oh, there
finally
she
has
is.
some lore,
There
given
she
to us
fucking
by one
is.
of the monthly explorations in Integrated Strategies 4. Surtur, as we know her, is an amnesiac and only holds vague memories of her past. Well, she gets her name from a former resident of Sami, the Fernmut Surtur, who once challenged Sami and for their trouble was defeated and sealed away. Being described as a flaming giant, we can assume Surtur resembles the fire giant that is its namesake. As its power and form are sealed away, Surtur has had to bounce from host to host, hoping to one day regain its power
Title should
and
be
might,
available for on
and
Peak Art
even help
Design.
out the nameless
Yeah,
Sarkaz
yeah,
for
yeah.
its inhabitant. Now, just because the Ferret is
It's
inhabiting the
amnesia,
girl
yeah, actually,
doesn't
though.
mean it has any control.
It's the
Sora
red
is
woman.
in full
Just
control
use Surtur,
and
bro.
uses cold things like ice cream to keep the Ferret quiet. During her trip to Sammy, Sora almost releases the flaming giant from its seal, but with a little guidance from Sammy, is able to suppress the Ferret and claims the name for herself, before continuing her journey towards Kazdel. Unfortunately for the Ferret Sora, it doesn't
Kind of
look like he's
miss
going to be
when
getting his
Surtur
body
actually
back
just fucking hated
anytime
us,
soon.
as opposed to
Alive Until
whatever
Sunset, that one music
Levitine
band
is
that
now.
randomly shows up during events. are also
I
leaving
forgot
the
about these.
farm.
These fucking guys showed up in like the first 2 events, and then they just never showed up again.
Coming from the waters by Aegir, they have been forced out of their home by the expanding seaborn threat. So, not even gods are safe from them. Well, in fairness, the seaborn have their own Leviathan gods. But still, the group
The
is made
Seaborn
up
are
of Alk,
Fahrenheits, they're
Aya,
just
Dan,
modified.
and Frost. And they have all taken on the appearances of
I
Aegirs
forgot.
to blend in. Not much is really
The
known
old,
about them yet,
design.
but they will presumably play a larger role in the unfolding events surrounding the Seaborn. Alive Until Sunset have at least made a few appearances in the following
They've
events
made
though.
2
Hope
fucking
of Swords and
appearances.
Flame, Gaviel the Great Chief returns, and of course, Salty Navis,
Oh, they were in
where
Salty
they
Fair,
are
oh,
beginning
shit.
their move
I actually didn't
back
know that.
towards the waters from which they came. Last but not least is the Faramut that appeared during the events of To the Grinning Valley. Ray's
They showed once and was
Faramut,
forgot
as
for-
I will
yeah,
refer
they just
to it
disappeared,
as,
bro.
is a
What the hell?
giant Faramut Ray met during the events of To the Grinning Valley. We basically know nothing about it. Other than that,
This
it's
is the
huge
Australian
and that
Faramut,
it
so you
saved
know
Ray
it's kind of
from
fucked
the
up.
catastrophe and placed her into the path of the crew she was traveling with. Literally can't say anything else about it, so there you go. At least we know it has one nice eye. So there you have it, Faramut's. Who they are, what they are, and why they are so cool. Hopefully you learned something from all that, but I want to ask you all one simple question. If you could pick the next Faramut we meet, what mythological creature would you like them to be? There's
I don't
probably a
know,
lot
man.
to choose from,
Don't
and
ask me
some of them
questions,
are
what the
no
hell?
doubt going to be made into a Sarkaz race. But I'll be interested to hear your answers. Y'all be good people, and I will talk to you
We
in the
gotten
next
any
one.
new ones since? I don't believe we have.
Okay, so I've looked a little further into this line that says about a great eye.
Elephant
opening
Purpin, I got it.
sky,
It's mainly
bringing
just the sweet
disaster,
stuff.
Bringing ultimate war.
So the China Faramut.
And seemingly, it is related.
It's
to
okay.
the Star Pod
You don't have to worry too much. Because the next video is actually
from the EN
directly
version of the
related.
game that was on the CN servers banners references a race called Observers, which
Okay,
are
yeah. This is an old video. When was this? A year ago. Shit, bro. We already knew about this observers. Sweet siblings or we'll do sweet siblings. These are basically similar enough. Like this is more specific. We'll do dragons. This has stat blocks. We can skip those. Okay, perfect.
Hey, before you ask, yes, I'm still planning on doing part 3 of Library, but things are kind of complicated right now. We've got a Patreon up and running with the biggest tier giving
Library
an
of
entire
Room. Man, I
brief
really
summary video
want to
of the world.
try
However, I also
get
moved
into
recently, which has gotten in the way of
Limbus
actually
stuff,
making
but I
videos.
just can't
I'm
with
also
that
completely
gameplay.
new at this and aimed for the Patreon videos to be about 10 minutes in length, but this one kind of spiraled out of
I
control.
like.
We're gonna hone it up a
Man,
bit.
we don't
It
have
should be
insect
able to
anything.
aim to
The
get
closest we have is
out of it.
Manticore, and she's not
Unfortunately,
even
part
a
3 has
full-on
taken backseat
scorpion.
while I'm figuring out a job and money issues. But these Patreon sponsors
Like, why don't we have
videos are
insect
a good way
operators,
for me
man?
to
What the
stay in
hell,
video
man?
making mindset while also still making content for y'all and getting a little cash to pay rent and afford groceries. Work will proceed on part 3 when my life is stabilized a bit. Until then, we're going to be relying on these Patreon-funded videos for a while. More on that later. For now, enjoy the new Arknights video.
It's messed up no matter what game you play. Yeah, that's what I've heard. I thought Road so.
Arknights
This was
World
before
Terra
that,
is
so they don't
surprisingly
know.
grounded for a gacha setting. Of course, there are the fantastical elements.
Noobs-
Like
oh, yeah,
magic,
yeah,
cancer
for,
rocks,
Sargon,
constant super
yeah, that'd be kinda
disasters,
cool.
and everyone owning a Fur Affinity account.
Hell yeah.
But for many parts of the story, that doesn't really matter too much. All of the fantastical elements just play into the gritty reality of the all-too-human world. Twilight of Wallimond, and I swear at some
Oh, I
point
hear
I'll do an
Wallimond is
Arknights
good
video
as
without
well.
mentioning that event, is essentially just about
There's so many
people
fucking events
panicking
I have to
because
play
winter
through.
is coming and they don't have enough to eat. And it's not because some wizard showed up and cast a panic spell on the populace. That's just how people would react in this situation. Granted, the town wound up that way because it got caught in a super earthquake and the entire thing was some grand plan by a Machiavellian manipulator. manipulator for the ultimate good of the town, but still, the majority of the plot is driven by raw human panic, which is why when the really elevated, fantastical elements get involved, the contrast makes them stand out so well. There's about 3 major, insane, supernatural threats on Terra. The first are the demons, a topic that we really haven't heard much of, which is worrying because they're called demons. They're horrifying monsters that live in the unexplored regions to the north and south of Terra, and that's about all we know. Then you've got the ocean, which has more tentacular horrors than an H.P. Lovecraft-themed hentai manga. Finally, you have the topic of this video, the literal, actual deities. In this setting, these immensely powerful entities are called Faranmud, and I apologize if I'm pronouncing that wrong, please be patient with me.
No one
They're
knows
not
how
like
to
the
fucking pronounce
gods
this
seen
shit,
in
man.
stuff like
I don't
Dungeons
know,
and
I'm just
Dragons that
guessing.
are completely separate from the mainline reality. These are living beings that are completely incomprehensible to humanity. They operate on a level above mainline human understanding, and their relation to the mythologies of Terra is left ambiguous. They might be the actual entities that inspired these myths, or they could simply be mimicking these legends for clout on God Twitter or something. Faranmuts are, as established, completely beyond mainline humanity's reckoning. They're able to use actual magic, not Originium-derived arts, but actual magical manipulation of reality independent of external factors. They're also immortal, and not in the don't age sense, in the that which is not dead but can eternal lie kind of way. Now, one might think that because of all this, these things would be running the world right now, but for the most part, they're unknown in the modern setting. That's because despite their immense powers, there is a way to incapacitate them. These entities, so powerful that even death can't touch them, can instead be broken when they are shattered like this.
Yeah, and now we have
personalities, while still possessing a
Xanthos, Varkaris, which is just
like the mainline Faranmud,
Sargonians.
they are completely immune to Oropathy and Originium. How do we even know that they can be fragmented like this? Because it's happened in the past, of course. In the nation of Yan, the China equivalent to the place where Lungmen is located, the Faranmuts once ruled.
It's the line from Lovecraft's Cult Cthulhu.
Little more than expendable chaff for their
Basically, he's saying
it is a dark
fucking
period in their
Cthulhu
history,
can't
and
actually
it is
die.
dark reflection
He's just
seen in
sleeping.
modern Yanni society. This dark time eventually came to an end when the Emperor of Yan declared a great hunt against the Faranmud. This conflict between man and deity was naturally fucking terrifying, and in all likelihood would have resulted in mankind's defeat. However, they received assistance from an unlikely source. One of the worst Faranmuts, a great dragon known as Sui, who decided in the middle of a pitched battle to turn on his brethren out of the selfish desire to be the one and only deity of the land. However, this bit him in the ass, as his brethren cursed him with their death and the emperor harshly punished him. In the end, he was shattered into 12 fragments, which became known as the 12 siblings. Dropping the in-universe explanation for a moment, the siblings are the focus of Arknights' cool annual event where a new one is introduced and general shenanigans
Ancient Forge wasn't
There are
even a
limited
fucking
units,
event,
which
bro.
means you've only got their banners
It was
to
just
get your
like a
hands on.
bunch of
If you do happen
small
to get them, they're some
storyboards.
of the most unique characters in the game. They also tend to have some extremely cool events, but this video isn't dedicated to set events.
This event
it's
is actually very
dedicated
good.
to the
It was
siblings
real. I
themselves.
really like
So
this
let's
one.
talk about them in order of release.
The problem
starting
with
Neon. This
the
fireworks
events for this thing is
enthusiast
that
a
whenever
protector
Wang
defense,
shows up,
which
it
means she's got
slows the
tons
fuck
of
down.
defense and an impressive 3 block stack.
Part really
but
does feel
trades that off
40k,
with
yeah.
relatively low
Yeah.
attack and literally no
Oh, we don't need
resistance, so
we don't need the
actually
fucking stat
nice.
blocks. I'm
Her
not gonna
first
lie to
skill
you.
is tin burning, which is the typical 6.
This is not
It can
important
be an
to our
extremely
needs
durable
because that's
wall in the right
gameplay shit.
circumstances. Not meta, but far from a waste of resources. Character-wise, Neon is an absolute gremlin. She's effectively a freeloader crashing in Rhodes Island that does whatever she wants.
Yeah,
She possesses
Lord
an
with this-
incredibly
yeah.
dense knowledge of metalworking and tends to either be
And
trying
so
to
he
play
caused a million
mahjong with
lives.
people
Yeah,
who
yeah,
are
yeah. Like they
working,
basically
chatting with
wiped
the
out like a
Rhodes
third of the
Island engineers,
population or something,
making
right?
extremely elaborate and special effects heavy home movies. She was introduced as an eccentric but otherwise human woman. In reality, she is the 9th fragment of Sui. She lives her life free, wild, and completely herself, because she loves her identity. Her main goal is somewhat paradoxical to this. The fate of the siblings is to one day lose their individuality. While they exist at some point in the distant future, they will
always
come
this
together to
fucking
reform
CG.
into
What the
Sui.
hell, man?
Neon
Use something
wishes to
else.
fight against this by uniting her siblings and attempting to actually no takesies backsies kill Sui. However, it seems that doing so might cost the siblings the very individuality they've come to cherish. Unfortunately, the event she was introduced in, Ancient Forge, was just a vignette and didn't really have
Yeah,
too much going
it wasn't
on
a
in it.
full
However,
event.
the sequel, Who Is Real, was a much bigger show and introduces our second sister, Dusk. As a counterpoint to Neon, Dusk is a splash caster, specializing in AoE arts
Okay,
damage. Splash
we don't need the
casters
stat
are
blocks.
inherently kind of niche, since in exchange
And yeah,
for
she's
that
not
AoE,
very good.
much like Neon, she's not bad, certainly has some interesting things that she can do, but is far from meta. Beyond the raw stats of her kit, Dusk is kind of a neat. Her specialty is in painting, and like the other dragon siblings, she's able to basically break the rules of reality through pure magical bullshit. So the things that she paints literally come to life, hence the little goobers that she can spawn. But it goes beyond just that. There are entire worlds inside of the paintings that she makes. The main bulk of her character is seen in the event What Is Real, which is a weird event dealing with Neon sending an aged up version of Lana.
Why are we talking about? I don't know. He has a stat block for each of them.
To go
Well,
check
the
up
first
on
4.
Dusk. Shenanigans occur, Neon herself shows up, and that's when we learn about Neon's plan to get all the siblings together to kill their true self. Dusk winds up cooperating, living inside of a painted door in a Rhodes Island hallway. Dusk is truly an enigma. While I described her earlier as a neat that paints her in a negative color, that'd make you think of dark rooms lit by glowing screens, piles of trash and junk food forming rancid walls. Dusk is more of a hermit. She likes her isolation. She invests entirely in the things that she enjoys and wants to shut out the outside world because she finds it boring. This all fits with her as a magical painter. Her abilities are weird. She fucks with human perception and puts out tangible illusions. She messes with the title of her event, What Is Real. Honestly, flowery language aside, I can barely parse some of the more esoteric bits about her character. But Neon throws firecrackers into a room to get her out, which is
just
hilarious.
like me,
also,
actually.
that room changes, by the way, seeming to let out in whatever landscape Dusk happens to be thinking of at the time. To summarize, since we need to move on, Dusk is a weird character possessing one of the more conceptual powers
stuff, not the illusion powers. Yeah, why go outside? Why touch grass?
Dusk's abilities fuck with the human mind. Do her abilities have any actual impact on reality? Is what she does real? Only as much as you accept it to be, which is incredibly confusing. Okay, esoteric painting mindfuckery aside, let's talk about our last dragon sibling for now, the gloriously convoluted poet and terminal alcoholic,
Ling. I like Ling. She's really funny.
Gameplay-wise, Ling is easily the best dragon sibling. She's a summoner and is able to call upon small dragons all on her own. Okay, now I have to talk about the elephant or dragon in the room. Ling is a poet, and my god do they let us fucking know it. Every single line out of this lady's mouth is a fucking poem, and I am wordsmith. So naturally, you'd think I'm an expert at this and will decipher all of Ling's poetry. Well, unfortunately, not really. My expertise lies in the construction of a narrative, not poetry. I specifically don't enjoy poetry that much, and translated poetry is even harder to get my brain around. And Ling's poems are specifically written in an archaic Chinese style, so translating that into modern English is a bit of a nightmare. So please, don't expect.
It's really nice listening to her English voice lines, though.
That said, it's kind of
just having her as your thing, as your
entirely in ancient Chinese poems. That is a writing ordeal, and the fact that they did it so well speaks volumes about.
They've also given this woman like 4 fucking skins. Like, my god, please.
This must have been a beast to work on.
Anyway, no, it definitely doesn't.
She's very chill and easily one of the nicest people around. She doesn't get in anyone's way and is always down to share a drink of wine. She appropriately
she's literally just constantly drunk.
Considering she is the 3rd oldest of the dragon siblings and the oldest girl among them. Her power is called Unfettered and largely deals with ephemeral dreams. She can bend the world to her whims to degrees that are frankly terrifying. She's also the least
Love the Red Riding on stream. Oh, you liked Rossi's, really? Because that was one of the weaker ones.
Although through a haze of drunken.
But yeah, no, Infield Swords are generally
translate
slow.
some of that, when Sui was shattered, each sibling essentially fought to answer the question, who am I? In layman's terms, they all had to develop a sense of self. Or an ego, but that's a spicy word on this channel and we're not going to use it. When they discovered this sense of self, that's when they were considered to have been born into the hierarchy. So all the siblings are basically...
This event would be really fucking good if it wasn't so bogged down by the fact that a million different things are happening. It's the reverse problem, where the reverse 1999 problem, where they just try to do too much in an event. Otherwise, like, if they had just focused on Ling, it would have been such a good event.
The same age in that they've existed for the same
time, but as it is, it's kind of slow.
They all discovered themselves at a different pace. Ling's earliest memories are of a place called Jiangnan. That's where she truly discovered who she was through learning poetry. These were by far the happiest days of her life. But she face-planted into the immortality issue as
they built all that. It was very entertaining, yeah.
The city around her,
yeah, I just didn't think it was all, like, it didn't have as big stakes as I'm used to. There he is. There's the boy. There's the man.
About how the city changing around her was disturbing, and he suggested that she go to the northern fortress city of Yumen and help defend it. He was essentially telling her to get some distance from this one place she's known and go see some of the rest of the world. She traveled to the fortress city and spent many years as an excellent general and strategist. After all, what is strategy if not a dream of what might happen in a conflict? Through those years, Ling felt that she knew all there was to know about the world, but one day while looking out on the vastness of the land around her from atop the city's gate, she realized that there was so much more for her to see. So she started walking, doing various goofy shenanigans before eventually settling on the 18th peak of the Shangshu mountain range, which she then poofed out of reality, causing it to be known as the Lost Peak. See what I mean by freaky levels of power here? She took an entire mountain and basically hid it from perception, and everyone in Yan was like, oh, okay, that's normal. Now, I won't be covering the events of Invitation to Wine in their entirety because that's a lot to go over, and we're coming up on our word count here, but I will tease you with the current situation of the Dragon siblings. There are two major factions at play,
is
and
Chong not
naturally
here?
they're both part of the government.
He is,
The
okay.
Sui regulators and the Ministry of Rights.
The regulars they actually
Regulators
mentioned
are
in
a
Guild
faction
as
of
well.
Yande's government
I guess they play a
specifically built
different
to deal with
role
theranos,
now.
and a major part of their duties is to make sure the Dragon siblings aren't doing weird shit. Opposing them are the evil Dragon
It's your video. Yes, I kind of have that same thing whenever I'm making a script. It's like I don't want to do another 4,000 words to explain this other whole other shit. Cannot be bothered.
Every 60 years, they play a game of Go, and if the brother loses, he will be imprisoned for 60 years. One time, he actually won a round and was set free for a while. During that time, a dragon sibling named Jie passed away in a conflict we don't know much about.
This is what the new
brother
event is
scattered
going to be about,
181
by the way.
black Go
It's this
pieces
dude.
across Yan and went back into his prison. Through those cursed pieces, he's managed to cause various incidents, including making a goblet that manifested an avatar of Sui during the Invitation to Wine event. Even worse, that Ministry of Rights faction that I mentioned is actively working with the second brother to revive Sui. One thing is abundantly
I don't
clear.
remember that
Every
part,
single
and I don't know
sibling that we
why.
have been introduced
I don't
to
know
so
why
far
they're
has
doing
said
that.
this. At some
These guys have word
soon,
counts.
Sui
Oh.
will rise again.
I didn't know
A
that.
huge,
Well,
inevitable
technically, I
conflict
think
is coming
videos
back.
have to stop at like
And
12
because
hours,
Rhodes
right?
Island
Otherwise,
let
YouTube just
not
kind of cuts it
one
off.
of the siblings, but 3 of them onto their land ship.
Streams,
we
I
are
know, do. You
inextricably
have to stop
Our
at 12.
organization has gone up against a lot of spooky stuff, but nothing quite like the dragon siblings. The ones that are on our side are able to wield actual magic to break reality in numerous ways. From effortless manipulation of metal to the creation of entire worlds of unreality and even vanishing major landmarks. The idea of what the siblings that are against us can do is
Ling's
frankly
power is just the
terrifying.
fucking back
However,
rooms, bro.
Now, these siblings are merely powerful allies that are completely removed from the plight of Originium. They're some of the most distinctly interesting units
5,000
in the
word
game,
limits.
and the
Oh,
story
Jesus
behind them is
Christ.
impressive.
Alright.
Arknights has the ability to make its world feel so deep and complex and stuff
Short
like this
essay.
world ending
Why?
threat and
Why
the
bother? I would
craziness
just be
of
like,
aren't
no.
even remotely tied into
That's just
the
going in the
plot.
video.
There's
Fuck
just
it.
even more craziness in the setting, and I kind of love it for that.
Wait, are we not getting Chong? Oh,
Okay,
we are.
the time
Okay.
it took for this video to come out, a new dragon sibling was introduced, and I'd be cringe if I didn't add him in.
Actually, I need to use the restroom real bad, so I'm gonna let you listen to his fucking stat block. It doesn't matter, but I
All
need
of the
this.
siblings have found various ways to express their own individuality, and Chong here expresses himself through martial arts.
Oh,
As
no,
such,
they're not
he's
gonna
a
give us that
fighter
block,
who
alright,
like mountain
fuck.
punching things
Nope, they are.
rapidly with
Okay,
his
give them 2
force and
minutes.
fury. His S1 is
You enjoy that.
being energized. This is a 3-time storable big punch that deals 210 to 400% of Chong's attack as physical damage. However, this skill is cool in that it burns through every stored charge when it gets used, meaning if he has all 3 charges stored up, Chong punches the first 2 to get near him for 12,000 of his attack, which does this to things. Before we get to his S2, we actually need to cover his talent. His first one is Jig Stopping War. This gives him an 18 to 25% chance to boost his damage dealt towards his target by 55 to 70% for the next 2.5 seconds when using his normal attacks. This means with his rapid punches, he's able to roll the dice a lot and eventually just atomize whoever he's throwing hands with. For the sake of getting it out of the way, his other talent is All Be Honorable, which is just 3 SP when he kills at least 1 enemy using a skill. This is absolutely filthy with his S3, but we'll get there. His S2 is Fuchin, Dust of the Past. This hits in a circle around him and deals 250 to 450% damage to 4 enemies. Enemies inflicted with his Stopping War talent are then levitated into the air and then slammed back down into the ground, refreshing said talent and dealing 350 to 650% damage when they slam down. Also, this can have 2 charges stored, letting him absolutely decimate enemies hit with his talent, dealing about 22,000 total damage if he burns both charges. Finally, his S3 is Wowu, One's Void. This skill costs only 12 to 8 SP to get off, recovers on offensive hits, and has a pretty damn crazy effect. At first, it's just a 180 to 380 damage nuke, but after being used 5 times, Chong gets several permanent buffs. His attack range expands to being a large plus sign around him, all of his normal attacks hit twice, the skill becomes auto-activated, and double dips for 2 hits.
He
This is
didn't
basically
finish,
his
nice.
Super Saiyan button, and makes him act a lot like Thorns. The next bit about
I don't
his story
come- oh,
myself
okay, I guess that
is
makes
an
sense
event,
then.
just a heads up. So believe it or not, Chong Yu is technically not a Furon-Mood fragment. His original name was Shuo, who was so impressed by Yan's tenacity that he decided to dedicate himself to martial arts, both for self-improvement /
Oh, yeah, he threw away
and
his
to use
fucking
as a weapon
divinity.
to deter those
What a
who
waste,
prefer
bro.
violence. To do so, he sealed away his Furon-Mood powers into his sword and turned his form into a flesh and blood, albeit immortal body. He took up the name Chong Yu and proceeded to go about and practice. He's spent years as a martial arts
Second
grandmaster,
anniversary
defending the city of Yuan
patch.
from the dangers to the north.
Yes.
We learn more about these dangers, but I'm not gonna go into them, because learning about this kind of feels like I stumbled upon forbidden Lovecraftian knowledge in my grandparents' attic. Anyway, Chong here has been an extremely effective teacher, freely sharing his knowledge through hands-on exercises and scrolls written to spread his teachings.
Was it Nautica? What is Beryl then? Because she's also limited.
He ran headfirst into the immortality problem. Those students that he connected with all inevitably died. Tired and exhausted from the endless fighting and watching generations of beloved pupils perish, he decided to retire and seek out inner peace. But given that he's currently vibing on the Rhodes Island landship and all the stuff that we talk about with the impending revival of an angry dragon deity, it doesn't seem like he's going to have the chance to do that anytime soon. War is inevitable, and when it arrives, it will be apocalyptic in scale. But while Chong Yu might prefer peace, he is by no means defenseless. Should those who seek violence carelessly approach him, they will find a man more than up to the task of overwhelming their bloodlust. Anyway, thanks for watching. This was the first Patreon sponsored video that I've done, and I
it's
can't
the
wait
festival,
to do even more. If you'd
whatever
like
it's
to have
called.
a video around this length made.
Alright. I think we have one last one. I think this is actually more on the actual event and what happens. I haven't watched this fucking video, so I don't know. It should be the first 4, so those are the ones that we're not going to be playing through anyways.
You know,
perfect.
Every Chinese gacha game I've played has always introduced that one faction based on its history, and it gives it a ton of focus. Coming back to it year
I think I quite like the siblings
to make sure you remember
so you mentioned it's just like on this self and prime mode.
this
Yeah. I mean that's
fictional
basically their whole thing,
Genshin
isn't
has
it?
Lue, Star Rail has the Lofu,
Like why do we exist and
Arknights
shit?
has Yan. From being one of the 2 regions focused on during the events of the reunion arc,
You know, Yan
to
wasn't
becoming
even.
the
No,
centerpiece
it was. I was gonna say
for
it wasn't the second
unfolding events
region, but
of the
technically it is.
Sui sibling series. It is undeniably one of the regions with the most focus in the game.
Yeah,
and
of course
from
it
the
is.
lack of all 12 siblings currently in Rhodes Island, I doubt that's going to change anytime soon. But a discussion on Yan is not why we're here today. Its time will come eventually, I'm sure. Today, I want to give you the basis to jump headfirst into the Sui sibling saga by recounting to you the tale of the siblings that currently exists in the game, so that you too may be prepared for the Rice Woman gaming that is currently on.
Oh, this is
the
before
global
Shu
server.
event. Alright, we're gonna
So,
play through Shu
what
event,
have
so
we
that's
got to cover
perfect.
today? Well, we got 4 events to cover, 2 of which are available in the side story tab, complete with record restore and everything. One of which
Well, nice
is
to be about
sitting in
Ursa
the
because
archive,
chapter 17 is in
and it
event
is
soon.
of, shall we say, questionable
Next should be like the next major thing. The anniversary will be chapter 17. Yeah, so that will be Ursus. Oh fuck, we have to play through Ursus shit. I kind of want to play through Children of Ursus honestly because that's a fucked up story.
importance. And the 4th one is, if this video comes out on time, which it did not, currently rerunning on the global server. Ancient Forge, Who is Real, Invitation to Wine, and Where Vernal Winds Will Never Blow. Now, are all of these events perfect? No.
Mix those
But
3.
I'm
Yeah.
pretty sure they have plenty of fans. Me personally, well, I could use
Like I
the
don't
beginning
know what
of
they
Who is
call the.
Real
I guess
as
it's
an
half
alternative
anniversary.
to
I
a
don't know
sleeping pill,
because the same thing with
but
Dungeon
I was
Hall
able
as
to
well.
suffer
Like,
through it, and by
it's
the
not. It's
time the
technically
action
not
picked up
a.
towards the
Thing.
midpoint
I don't
of the
know.
event,
It's not even really
I
half
did
anniversary
start
because it's
enjoying
like 2 months
Overall,
after.
I enjoyed Invitation to Wine, but like Who is Real,
NTR. This is not
it
NTR,
no
bro.
start. It
Oh wait,
definitely
you
wasn't
mean
my favorite
yes,
event
yes,
came
that
out
is
that
NTR.
year, but it was an
Neural the
improvement,
Radiant.
which I can at least say that every Sui event so far has been an improvement on what comes before.
Oh wait, Bear, did you see
Winds
Zonko
is my
playable?
favorite of the Sui events so far. The story it tells is just more complete compared to the others, in my opinion. Ancient Forge is a bit of a weird event to
It's
cover,
not even a
but
story, bro.
it is very much an important setup piece for the Sui sibling storyline. To not bog us down
Wait,
later
Bear,
with
did you
the
know
explanations,
Perlica is
what do you
Polish? Because
need
I
to know
didn't.
to understand
Like
the
her
Sui events?
her
I will try to keep it brief.
her bird
The
is fucking
Sui
Polish.
siblings. Arknights showing some of its Warhammer Fantasy inspirations just a little bit with the siblings.
Yes,
They are very
yes,
much
sure,
like the
in
dragon
CST
brothers
times,
of
hell
Cathay,
yeah.
a family of dragons descending from one super dragon god. But they are not the offspring of the super dragon god. The Sui siblings are 12, now 11, fragments of the original dragon god Sui. These include Nian, Dusk, Ling, Chang'e, Shu, Wang, Ji, and another Ji, who is dead. Each of these fragments hold
Herlica is
a
what?
part of the original
Apparently,
Fallenmut's
Herlica
power,
means
and
guinea
some
fowl
of the most
in
powerful in view, and are some of the
Polish.
most powerful
Polish. I
individual
don't actually know.
characters we've met.
That's what,
Each of the
that's just what I've
events
heard.
serve to build up one of
It's a
them
damn CG.
as
Yeah,
an
it's
introduction,
always this one,
except
man. There's so many. I don't know why they just use this one. Hell no, we don't claim her. Damn,
I
bro.
suppose Wang, who's been slowly
That's so
built
sad.
up as the main antagonist across multiple Sui events, starting with Invitation to Wine. So who's Sui? Well, Sui is a Faramut. The Faramut.
Do we want to go through this again? We've already heard this shit so
subject
many fucking
that
times.
This video
That's
does not
fine.
time for. Luckily, there is a super cool
Oh,
dude
nice.
who has just made a video about these gods. So
They skipped it.
click the
Perfect.
card if you want to know more about them. But all you need to know is that around 1,000 years ago, an event known as the Great Hunt occurred, and the mighty god fragmented its power to aid the people of Yan with hunting down its fellow Faramut. Millions died, but it was a successful hunt. And following
Millions
its
must
completion,
die.
the god was
Wang got
permanently
chunky. Yeah,
fragmented,
like
so that it
compared
would
to
not
his
pose threat
NPC
to
model, he got a
Now,
big
after
upgrade.
centuries of
This
separation,
fucking guy, bro.
some of the Sui siblings wish to reform the god to take vengeance on humans for the death of one of the Sui siblings. Gee, well, maybe that was Wang's original reason, but only time will tell if his love for his sister will actually be his motivation for his path of destruction. A question that is answered in
G's design is so
People's
good
Souls,
too.
by the
I'm
way.
so sad they
Neon
killed her
is
off.
against
I would
this
have loved to
plan,
have her
so
playable.
obviously has to get all the good dragons together to prevent
Goat
this,
or bum,
as
bum,
they are rather
obviously.
partial to being individuals now. Yan and its government has a large part to play in this, so obviously the Yanese government has factions in place to deal with the Sui problem, and as such, the Sui regulators have been set up. An entire part of the government of Yan purely dedicated to dealing with the surviving Faramuts. Primarily though, as you can
Proxies,
imagine by the
Faramut
name,
proxies.
they focus on the Sui fragments. Zole is our main point of reference for this group, and
Oh,
for the
right, I
most
forgot
part,
he was
takes
part of
a
this as well.
passive role in dealing with the
He just kinda
siblings.
shows up.
They know just how dangerous they can be, and so, as long as they aren't hurting anyone, they are more than willing to let them peacefully exist. Now, however, the threat of demons from the north and sea bones from the south are motivating some within the Yanese government to deal with the Sui once and for all. So, the regulators walk
okay,
a
so
fine line
how did
of
you
using
not
the
know that,
Sui
man? What the
for
hell?
betterment of Yan and protecting Yan from the threat they pose. And with that, I'm pretty sure you have all the basics of the lore needed to understand a summary of these events. So
Thank
let's
God.
get
In actuals,
to
it was so hard
Ancient
finding like a
Forge
summary for
asks
this
the
shit.
question, what if a
So she
god
can say the
made
game.
a
Cool, well.
movie? It is one
Oh,
of the
African,
more
no.
interesting events
Maybe
that
not.
Arknights has ever given to us, actually. It's not
Well,
peak
maybe,
fiction
actually.
by
I don't
any
know.
means. It's not even close to it. I wonder if I would even call it good. It is quite
not.
literally
It's
a
not fucking good.
B-movie plot about Nian's attack on Lungmen. Now, when I say that, you are probably assuming I'm exaggerating or being a little disingenuous. No, I am being 100% literal. The events of Ancient Forge tell us the tale of Nian and Lava writing a script for a movie Nian wishes to record for a Rhodes Island movie night. In it, all of Longmen prepares for the arrival of Nian, an ancient and powerful being that strikes fear into the hearts
Narrow
and
patch,
minds
if you're just
of
saying we
those
might get it
who know
too.
of its existence.
I think we're getting this stuff.
Fumizuki, not Wei, is in charge
I'm
of
pretty
Longmen.
sure. Like, you
Chen
should
is
just get the
still
same shit anyways,
superintendent
right?
Of the LGD. Hoshiguma is a mob
36 star,
boss.
bro.
Wei and the Rat King are retired LGD officers. Swire and Lin are training to become
Fucking no.
LGD
Okay, this one, the rat, is his daughter. Tell me how that fucking works.
are retired LGD officers. Swire and Lin are training to become LGD officers, and Amia and Rhodes Island are assisting in taking down Nian. A pretty interesting, I guess, spin on the world of Arknights. Our most interesting characters are, of course, Lava and
Free
Nian.
unique skin, let's
Nian
go.
has
Oh, it's
written Lava
free
as a
skin, right? Not
badass
free
hunter of
character.
Feramuts, learning ancient Chinese secrets of taking down these monsters, being able to cut space with her dagger.
He
and her
cracked the rat. He is a rat.
being more like Tallulah
Fucking
than
no.
little AoE explosion. So yeah, Nian buffed Lava so that she could actually compete with herself in this movie script.
Yeah,
Nian,
but
however,
she's still not
ensures
good.
that her self-insert always gets the last laugh. Being a villain so overpowered that he has no problem taking care of all of Longmen without really breaking a sweat. From melting buildings with her flames to creating an
Yeah, she's a
entire
terrible movie
terracotta
maker.
army of soldiers that are not only able to be made rapidly, they can even use arts.
He
She
cracked
even
Mama
ends the movie
Perez,
by
no
introducing
way.
Dusk as the villain for Ancient Forge 2, the hit sequel to an unfinished movie. So,
Yes.
the event is silly and doesn't take itself that seriously.
Nyan as
but it
Moku
does
from
set up
Toho.
quite an
What is-
interesting amount
I don't know much about Toho. No, cool. Oh, I see it. Yeah, same color scheme, same general profile. Yep. He's even immortal. Aren't they all immortal or something? That's what I assumed. And he did clear characters playable. It's a bit weird. Okay, so Arknights events take place across a very long like timeline, right? Some will happen years and years. So at certain points, characters who were once alive are probably no longer alive. They never explicitly say something about it, but like you have a lot of our operators with like extremely terminal illnesses. So if there's an event that happens like 20 years in the fucking future, it's pretty safe to say they're fucking dead. Also, Beagle is one of the characters is we don't know. It's implied that she's dead at this point. But we don't know. Something in images for Proxy Sui and what her powers would be. I don't know. Well, the Sui itself
let's run through that. Number one,
is just
Nian
angry.
has siblings just as powerful as her. Pretty obvious.
Adolf hit me on the roster, some necromancy. You say that
effectively
we have a
gods. Number three,
necromancer on the
Nian and
roster.
her
She
siblings'
died and
power
revived
are
herself.
entirely separate from ours.
So she's just
Number
dead.
four, Nian has
And
a
she's also
power
like
called
kind of
Ancient
Hitler as
Forge
well.
That gives her the ability to effectively forge divine weapons and constructs. Number five, the Furnace,
To a certain exactly,
or at
like
least
they're
the
dead
Sui
as fuck,
fragments,
bro.
are startled by firecrackers. This will be relevant in Who is Real. And number six, Nian loves two-step firecrackers as a final plot device. Once again, this
God,
will be
her mother's
relevant in
genius.
Who is Real. So
Yep.
yeah, overall,
Yes,
this
she
one
did.
would be a skip if you just want to look at relevant stories to the Sui story.
Yeah,
But
it was
I
basically
think it
just
deserves
intro
its place
story,
in this
like
reading
introducing the
order
siblings
because
to
it's
begin with.
mercifully short for
Ancient
one,
Forge is kind of just
and it
pointless.
is a pretty enjoyable read, especially as an introduction to Nia,
Necromancer,
who,
Necromancer.
despite being
She's hot
as
too, though.
dangerous as the character she portrays herself as in the movie, is generally just a pretty laid-back individual. Who is Real tells us the story.
This was a very
of
good
Dusk,
story.
and I suppose you could consider it the real start of the Sui storyline. Technically, it is a sequel to Ancient Forge, as Dusk was set up as the next villain of Ancient Forge 2, so it is technically falling into Nian's B-movie canon. Nian tasks Lava and Cruz to travel to Mount Huichi.
Base
to
Calcid,
find
that's
her
true.
missing
Yes, Base
sister
Calcid is
Dusk,
also there.
giving them a
That's a
protective
massive
charm
fucking
to aid them
spoiler.
in their search for her. While on this journey, the gang runs into one Mr. Nothing. Definitely one of my favorite Arknights characters.
Mr. Nothing.
And not one
We
who
haven't
puts
seen
me
this
to
man in
sleep with his
years, bro.
dialogue. After saving him from an accident, the unlikely trio make their way
Right,
up the mountain.
educational
where they
info.
discover
I
a
like
lone
lore,
cabin,
man.
and
It's a
upon
lore
entering this
channel. What the
cabin,
fuck do you want
find
from me, bro?
themselves within Poshan Village, where the question of who is real will be answered.
Play a
Title
passive
drop,
and entertain
roll
no one
credits,
did. Yes,
etc.,
yes,
etc.
exactly.
Their memories are a little messed up from this, so they don't question how they got there initially, but after looking at the
And it's kind of
protective charm Nian
implied
gave
that
them,
one of our
the three
operators was
realize
killed
they
by
are
another one of our
somehow,
operators at some point in time, so
an
that's fun.
entirely different part of the world, and not the cabin they were meant to be entering. And so
Tang
they begin
Yams,
to
hell yeah.
question the reality of everything around them. Luckily for them, a wandering monk happens to have stumbled her way into Poshan Village as well, Saga, and she tells them about how this world they are currently in is actually a painting. Saga takes them
She
to
was
meet the
stuck
most
in the
knowledgeable
painting for
person
like
in the
10
village,
fucking years, bro.
Dawn, who seems to be the only resident aside from them who knows that this reality isn't real. Dawn, however, is unable to explain everything to them as she wishes to avoid angering the painter. Despite being on its surface a tranquil utopia, the village is under constant attack from ink spirits who kill, eat, and maim the inhabitants of the painting, as well as destroying the village. This of course traumatizes the trio, but the very next day, following this destructive attack, everything is reset to the way it's meant to be, with only the non-inhabitants
She will
and
appear, but
Dawn
they're part of
remembering
our
what
Oh,
happened.
really?
So yeah,
Because I thought
Dusk
in
has
the Monster Hunter 2
effectively
collab takes
created
place in a
an- so yeah,
different
Dusk has
dimension
effectively created
entirely,
a time loop
from what I
for
hear.
anyone who falls into her paintings.
Like, it's just
Dawn offers
Orchid
a little
and,
help by revealing the
fucking,
weakness of
who was
the
it?
ink spirits.
And Vanilla who fall into a different
Firecrackers.
dimension or some
Told
shit.
you Neon hid some truth in her scripts. This allows Lava, Cruz, and Mr. Nothing to repel the ink spirits while Saga meditates on the nature of the world. And Dusk is none the wiser to their intentions until Neon's name is mentioned by Lava. Thanks to her meditation, Saga is able to wake up from the painting's dream and meet with Dusk. Dusk gives Saga a look into the life of the
At the
head
same time,
monk
though,
of the
I
monastery.
honestly don't know
Dusk on a
what
whim
the
saved him
collab is
before,
about.
and then watched
That's all.
over
That's just
him
what I've
from
heard.
afar as he continued his journey across Terra before returning to Higashi to found the monastery that Saga was raised at. Saga is satisfied by her meeting with Dusk and before she leaves has something to show her. The charm Nian gave Lava. This pisses Dusk off, who punishes those trapped in her world by forcing them to see their worst lives. Saga sees many alternative versions of herself. Her skin, basically. Mr. Nothing gets to see his life leading up to his death, and Cruz is forced to see the tragedy that befell Beagle. Lava is, however, trapped in an infinite void of darkness, unable to find the others. But it's too late. Nian has found Dusk. She first retrieves Nothing and Cruz from their punishment before finding Lava. She tells
I don't want to go to Bolivar, man. It seems fucked up over there.
The Great Hunt of Yan, a little gift for helping her find her sibling. And finally, Nian confronts her little sister. A battle beyond mortal comprehension, where the two battle through multiple painted worlds, as the two discuss what should be done about Sui. Nian, of course, wants to oppose the return of Sui, but Dusk thinks it's too much hassle. Unable to convince Dusk, Nian unveils her trump card, a two-step firecracker that burns down the painted worlds that they are battling within, and returns them to the real world. Like I said, Nian's a fan of
yes.
little plot device. The two are about to start battling for real after
What do you mean
this,
how? I would just schedule them
Saga
whenever.
makes a way out of the painted worlds.
I would probably
This
play it like a
allows
ton,
Nian
honestly, so it'd be
to
like
call
a bunch of
Dusk
streams in a row.
and claim the winning spot on an old bet the two had. After this, Dusk is convinced to help
I don't
Nian
even know if I don't
in her goal
know when they're
of
announcing beta
preventing the revival of
qualifications
Sui,
though. I haven't
and
done anything for
travels
that.
with her to Rhodes Island. But why did Dusk create this elaborate painted world? Well, you remember Dawn, right? Well, Dusk once saved Dawn after a catastrophe wiped out the real Poshan village. And following this event, Dusk trained Dawn to be a painter. The two traveled together for quite some time before parting ways. The two were only reunited on Dawn's deathbed. Here, she asked Dusk for one thing only, to recreate the village in one of her paintings. And so she did, with Dusk even resurrecting Dawn within this painting in order to give her a better life. Dusk, despite her unsociable personality, really does care for those around her. So it's no surprise she would join up with Nian, despite their differences. Invitation to Wine, taking place shortly after the events of Who Is Real. Cruz and Mr. Nothing
Every single side quest, you guys want to see how shit the game is. Yeah, I mean, I'm probably going to, honestly. If I get in. If I get in.
For the third oldest of the Sui siblings, Ling. Ling has taken refuge atop the mountains overlooking Shangshu. From there, she has acted as a rather benevolent god, mostly leaving the people to their own devices, while she drinks over the years. However, in times of great crisis, not even catastrophes affect the homes of the people of Shangshu, for despite her reclusive nature atop the mountain, the people of Shangshu have a caring god looking down on them. She's even claimed one of the 18 peaks of the mountains for herself, keeping it hidden from the view of those looking upon the mountain. Although the natives of their region have their suspicions about her presence. Upon arriving in the city, they run into the one and only Li, who has journeyed to Shangshu from Longmen in order to deliver a special package, a small goblet. Their arrival is not peaceful, however, as they immediately become a
yes, each one focuses on a specific one. The current one, the one that's happening, will be focusing on Wang.
In order to escape from her, the gang take refuge in Liang Zhon's home, the local magistrate of Shangsu, and an old friend of Li's, who commissioned him to acquire the package. Everything is going smoothly so far, but of course things can't keep going that way, and that little goblet is the center of it all. It contains the essence of the Sui, to be specific, the essence of the second fragment of the Sui, Wang. So of course, the Sui regulators are going to have to get involved, allowing for the first appearance of Zhuo Lei and Tai Yi. The two are initially investigating the events surrounding Who Is Real, but they are more than willing to get involved with this incident. They intend to claim the goblet off of Liang before anything disastrous happens. So, of course, the goblet is stolen by a mercenary, Rhodes Island's very own Black Knight. Black Knight was hired by a different department of the Yan government that opposes the work of the Sui regulators. There's also a whole separate series of events going on, involving the Escort Bureau's head Zheng and Shang, a former aggrieved worker, who battle over the goblet to settle old grudges, taking it from the thief Black Knight. So, needless to say, the goblet is causing problems. Even though it is just a fragment, it has begun creating weregeists, little monsters that run around causing chaos. The regulators see this and double their efforts to retrieve the goblet before complete chaos breaks out. Cruz and Nothing assist them in dealing with these creatures, while our beloved Mr. Li begins acting strangely. Having been exposed to the goblet for the longest period of time, Li has been possessed by the spirit of Wang and is manipulating events for his own pleasure. The growing tensions surrounding the goblet eventually lead all of the involved parties to the peaks of the mountains. Cruz and Mr. Nothing climb the mountain to find Ling. Zule and Taihe climb the mountain to prevent the reunion of the Sui siblings. Shang and Zhang climb the mountain to
Like, this is what I mean when I say that this event had way too much going on. Like, they could have pared it down quite a lot. It would have been a lot better.
Right now. During the chaos, Neon and Dusk arrive on the scene, putting a stop to the conflict. Dusk traps most of the people on the mountain within one of her painted worlds, save for Zule, Cruz, and Mr. Nothing. And the sisters get to have a little reunion atop the mountain peak. Zule reveals the Grand Tutor's wishes to the Sui siblings here. However, Ling, after finally revealing herself, reveals to Zule that the orders he is carrying is a forgery. This entire event has been set up by Wang, and an avatar of the god Sui descends from the heavens. At the same time, Li is busy playing a game of Go chess against the second brother, all while Ling, Nian, and Dusk defeat the Sui avatar in the real world, forcing Wang to concede to Li. And all's well that ends well, with the Grand Tutor himself making an appearance. And
reuse CG camera actually. I should just do that for my video. Just use the same fucking shit.
Without any harassment from the
see how long it takes someone to notice.
Not for free, obviously. Ling is fondly remembered by the court for holding back the demons of the north, so she gets a pass. Nian, however, is commissioned by the government to construct a great defensive barrier against the north with millions of her terracotta soldiers to man it. Of course, Nian accepts, so I can imagine
because I didn't want to have to play through 4 fucking events
for a while. But we do get to see her again in
that I've already played through, mind you. So
she has been busy. You'll never guess what event takes place right after Invitation to Wine. Vonal Winds introduces us to the city of Yumen, the heart of Kung Fu in Yan, and the home of the oldest of the Sui siblings, Chong Ye. This Sui fragment has sealed away his divinity so that he may be immortal like those he surrounds himself with, and changing up the formula of the Sui events, he is introduced at the very beginning. Not only does this give us way more time with the character, but it also allows for us to actually see how the events that take place affect him, unlike his siblings, where their appearances saved for much later in the event, limiting their role to basically serve as an introduction to the character. That aside, Yumen is preparing for the return of the Sui under the Grand Tutor's guidance. And in addition to that, Chong Ye is returning
like your standard
as the Grand Master of the Yan armies. But in order for all this to happen, he must find a successor to his position. As such, many important people from around Yan have arrived.
Yeah, because also that one,
Grand Tutor, the Rat King,
the Black Snake is still doing his shit over there, isn't he?
Longman, General Zhou Zhan Liao, Zulei's father, Liang Zun from Invitation to Wine fame, as well as Ling and of course Chong Ye. Additionally, Waifu and Li have come to Yumen looking for Waifu's father, Tian Pei. Also, Du is returning as well, having moved up from gang leader to owning a courier business in Yumen. Yumen is on course for the capital of Yan and is preparing for the Wang Thing festival, a celebration.
Right, so they have mobile cities. These cities are mobile.
Soldiers
that's
sacrificed to defend Yumen over the many years of its existence. The city, as a part of this, decided to hold a martial arts tournament. On one hand, as an attraction for this festival,
with yes, her name is Waifu. The orange tiger girl, yes, her name is Waifu.
Chong Ye has poured his firm power into. Initially dark with
yeah, she is.
Yumen is forced to depart rapidly as a
it's spelled like it's double. There's a 2 U's at the end.
And this traps many important delegates within the city. Nevertheless, the city shall continue on without worry, as they are more than prepared to.
Bro, the CEO of this game is a fucking furry. I don't know what you want me to tell you.
To devastate the city in order to achieve their own goals. The catastrophe messengers have been found.
How is she not playable yet, man?
Jiun has infiltrated the city and stolen Chong Ye's sword, and worst of all, an avatar of a pharaoh has infiltrated the city. Ya even almost assassinates Wei and the Rat King almost immediately upon entering the city, only being stopped by Chong Ye and Ling coming to their aid. Ya has even fallen in with a group of Pheromote worshippers known as the Shanghai Zong, who terrorized Yumen 20 years ago.
Is there an Arknights? No, there is not. No, there is not.
To be placed under strict curfew, and a great manhunt is organized to hunt for Ya and her followers. At the same time, Waifu offers to help Du deal with the people who killed her employees. Lin also hopes to aid the forces of Yumin by investigating rumors within the city, and Chongye's head disciple, Chu Bai, leads the garrison's soldiers searching for Ya. Ya has stolen the messenger's catastrophe data, and now Yumin is on a race against time
And the
to
actual
locate
sort
it
of
and
Palace game.
redirect
I've
the
seen a
city
little bit,
away
not
from
a
its
lot.
doomed
I watch people stream it.
Locking down the city has turned the place into a powder keg. The local martial artists are being kept at an arm's length by the general.
Name
and
us,
their
last name
cooperation
Bono. Yeah,
with
actually,
the
that.
investigation is being refused.
I wouldn't be
Ji
surprised.
Yun is also still
It'd be
on the
kinda funny.
run with Chongye's sword and is rescued by Tian Pei.
Why
She
do the
lays
Nasa
low
get
in a
halos?
workshop owned by the
That's kind of
martial artists
interesting.
of Yumen and wishes to take the sword to her master,
think-
but she is being
I
pursued
don't remember if
by
Lee Bong has one as well.
Shule and Kubai surround the workshop, believing it to be the center of the Shanhai Zong's activities, and they are ambushed almost immediately by them, so they would appear to be correct. However, it's just the Shanhai Zong pursuing the sword of Changye. Ji Yun attempts to escape during this moment, but is cornered by Zhuo Le. However, he allows her to take the sword with her to her master's grave, after she promises to return with the sword later. At the same time, Ling uncovers the schemes of the Shanhai Zong. One of Yumen's own martial artists, Meng, is behind it, hoping to overthrow the general because of his harsh policies. He is however not a true member, only using them for his own goals. And as punishment, Ya kills him. However, Meng gives the catastrophe data to Lin before he dies. Because of this, Ya almost kills Lin, if not for the timely arrival of one Chen. However,
I don't remember
even
Chen in
with
this
the
event. What
combined
the
might
fuck?
of Waifu, Chen, Ling, and
It's been like
Chubai,
3 years, but
they
still,
are
fuck.
incapable of stopping Ya. Only the timely intervention of Tian Pei saves the girls, using his mastery of Kung Fu to defeat Yap and drive her away. He also finally reunites with his daughter,
So
not
useful
that this
against
worthless
annoying
excuse
enemies,
for a
right?
parent deserves his child's love. Lee sweeps
But the
Yumen's
maid
suffering
cook,
foe.
probably.
Unfortunately, the data reached Yumen's command too late. The catastrophe is unavoidable now, but humans shall face it
Yeah, but
undaunted.
see,
The
that's
civilians
just.
are moved
Why not
towards
just use Project
catastrophe
Red
shall
at
be
that
weaker
point, though?
to
Like, if you
minimize
just need CC,
casualties.
right?
The Wind Digest, an anti-catastrophe
One of
defense
the
measure,
IS-5
is
enemies will
deployed,
also have Halo
and
on
all
their
the
head.
casters
Oh, I didn't
capable
even.
of protecting
Right.
against a catastrophe are placed on duty. Ling even takes over the task of protecting half of Yumen, so all the casters can only focus on one half of the city. This group of casters includes Lin and the Rat King, so they are quite well
Good
manned.
Rat King.
Ling, however, is more successful than them, but that just shows how powerful Ling is compared to mortals. And she's a proven track record when it comes to handling catastrophes. Although before the catastrophe hits, one more thing must be resolved: Tian Pei and Chongye's duel. Tian Pei is
I
trained
saw
his
someone make
entire
an
life for
animation
moment,
of this fight,
even
like
abandoning his own daughter to become the best
like a
martial
full-on
artist
fucking
he
thing.
could be, all to become the strongest under heaven, the greatest martial artist in all of Yan. And he manages to put Chongye on the back foot once in their 10-round battle. But it's not so
Fight,
shonen
fight.
where that would have
Wait,
been
I'm gonna
the
see if I can
final
actually
round.
pull up that
And
fight. Just
Chongye
that
is firmly
animation.
defensive.
It's actually
Chongye
good.
does complement Tian Pei's skills, but he proves to be a mountain Tian Pei cannot climb. Ji Yun reaches her master's grave around this time and is able to present Chongye's sword to her. Following that, she does return the sword to Zhuo Le and travel to Yumen with him. to
Literal
meet with
god
Chongye
sword, and she gives it
seek
back. My
shelter
god.
from the catastrophe. As the catastrophe reaches Yumen, the Shanhai Zong attempt their final sabotage. By taking out the casters defending Yumen, the catastrophe will be able to devastate the city. However, the martial artists and soldiers put aside their differences to defend Yumen. Ya, however, planned for this to fail. Her main goal has always been seeking vengeance against the one who betrayed her and their race, the Ferrenmut Sui. Ya confronts Chongye and berates him about the betrayal of Sui, questioning why he is attempting to become a god of Yan, despite everything that has happened. Ya traps them in a dimension of her own creation, but is unsuccessful in her attempt on Chongye's life,
Just a pretty
being
flash
handily
start
defeated
again,
by
bro.
him. And with all things wrapped up, Yumen survives the catastrophe with minimal damage, all things considered at least, only being grounded for 3 months before it can begin to head to the capital once again. Chongye meets with Ji Yun and explains the nature of his sword to her, trapping Shou, the firmament within it, and
Ji Yun should have
reborn
used
as
the sword.
Chongye.
Maybe
After
she did
just
better.
getting the sword back, however, he gives it to Tian Pei and instructs him to protect it in his stead, arranging another duel with him in exchange.
What the fuck is
for Tian Pei
Chongye's
protecting it.
problem? Just
Chubai
take the
also
god
bids
powers back.
Chongye
Holy
farewell,
shit.
heading
Don't
on
just
her
throw
own
that shit
journey as
around.
the quickest NPC to playable character we've had in
Oh yeah,
Arknights,
she was
with
playable
a death in
immediately the
Shanghai
next patch.
being the event that took place right after Vono wins. And so as Chongye prepares to leave the city of Yumen, he meets up with his brother Wang, promising to defeat him should he drag the people of Yan into his game. And Chongye finally leaves the position of Grandmaster behind him, walking off into the desert, leaving the city of Yuan behind him. He might have given up his role as the Grandmaster of Yan, but his heart is bent on the protection of its people, setting himself up as one of the biggest obstacles Wang will have to overcome in his mission to revive Sui. And that's about it for the Sui events so far. Of course, there is the event Here Are People's Souls, the Farmville simulator. But in order to see that, you're gonna have to find out next time.
This is what we'll be playing,
because this video is long enough as it is. But don't worry, my review of the event will be the next video out on this channel after this one. So you'll get all the knowledge on this event soon, TM.
Alright, Here Are People's Souls, July 11th. Oh, right, because tomorrow is going to be live stream.
Is quite interesting. My final thoughts on it aren't finalized quite yet, but it's definitely a good read. I'll round this video out with a simple question. What are your thoughts on the Sui storyline, and what direction are you hoping for the event?
Every time Wang shows up, the story slows the fuck down, bro.
People, and I'll see you in the next
one. Of the Pheromones wants to revive Sui doing that revenge on them. I get like, yeah, so Wang's kind of pissed off because G dies. So he's kind of trying to revive Sui in order to kill it himself. Like, so none of his other siblings have to die. That's what I recall. What live stream tomorrow? Oh, tomorrow is Reverse 1999 Atomic Hearts collab live stream. Like the announcement live stream. Why is Enfield set on a completely... That's what I'm fucking wondering, bro. Okay, to be fair, Arknights kind of... What am I looking up? Arknights kind of started off really slow as well. So maybe Enfield catches up. But my issue with Enfield is just the story format. This is the one that dies, and I really like her fucking design, and she's never going to be playable, bro. It's so sad. She's the calligraphy sibling, I believe, which is why she has like these little calligraphy tassels on her tail. It's such a nice design. God damn it. Without all the history and world-building, yeah. First 10 chapters, yeah. I think it was okay by the time we hit like chapter 4 or so with Partial Necrosis and Frost Nova and stuff. But the whole reunion storyline in general was just a little bit of a slog. I'm assuming either, I mean, 1.4 will be half anniversary, so, which is going to be this, it's going to be the same fucking day as the live stream for Reverse as well, so we're going to be watching that as well. Oh, let me see if I can pull up that, oh god, I want to do all these lore, I kind of want to just go through all of these lore videos from Terra Historian because I really like that second one. Hey, look, Bear reacted to them as well. Wasted design. Actually wasted design. Unless they bring her back somehow. I don't know. I hope they do. I really like that design. I wonder if they have it. Well, fan animation? Oh, it's by fucking Dylan Goo. Oh shit, I didn't realize. Okay. Oh, they also have the cinematics, I forgot about that. What is this, 6 minutes? Whatever. Like, this dude just does animations for a lot of shit, bro.
With the catastrophe so close, I can't help but wonder why someone would decide to leave the city right now.
This doesn't concern you.
Oh, this is actually a sequence from the end of the...
Doesn't concern me. Then maybe you can explain why you have something of mine tied to your back.
It was my master's dying wish! I don't have time to deal with this. I need this sword for today.
That sword affects the safety of you, men. I can't let you take it so easily.
Bro's just aura forming, what the hell? No, this is not official. This is a fan animation. This animator has made stuff for a lot of fucking games, actually. Wait, have you seen the fucking Enfield ones, though? There was one guy who made some insane Enfield animations.
Enough!
Custom 3, yeah. No, this guy is the real fucking
Usually
deal.
when you agree to have a duel,
Because this is the guy who offered
it's
to take
considered rude to
Ruby
schedule
after
another one
Rooster
right
Teeth went
before.
under.
I hope
Like to
you're
buy the
not
rights
too
out to it.
tired, Grandmaster.
I assure you, Tianpei, it was only a warm-up.
Well, are you done?
Your master was a very good friend of mine. All I ask is that you bring this sword back to me when you are done visiting her. Can you do that?
Choose AMV, whereas Steam Knight's Lord. Oh, that
Yes.
one's good too.
Yes, sir.
That's an entirely different storyline, though. God damn
Promise I
it.
will return the sword to you when I get
The
back.
Tiger Man. I could. There, okay, wait, hang on. We'll
Send
pause this.
mine
one.
ago.
The Tiger Man does not exist as a playable character. However, let me introduce you to the fucking Lion Man. It's Mountain, dude. Look at this guy. Look at this fucking dude, bro. He's one giant fucking guy. Also, his skin is kind of nice. Yeah. Alright. Alright.
Parts.
That's Snow Leopard. Yeah, it's Snow Leopard. That's what it is.
Now then, let's see which one of us is really stronger.
Finally.
It's familiar. They did reactivate to it. Oh, did they really? Okay, I did not know that, actually.
That's one
That's old
round
ass thing.
for
But
me.
there's quite a few of like the more animalistic furries in this game. Again, the CEO of this game is a goddamn furry. His fucking persona is a scaly. It's a lizard man,
Strong blows, but your
and he
parry
puts it
needs
in every
work.
goddamn game.
Focus. Find the flow of least resistance.
Don't lecture me.
They use mocap. Oh, mocap, you mean? Yeah, probably. I don't know. I don't know how the process for this generally goes. Bro, he's fucking cheating. He's using magic. Do something.
Zhongye, you may be the strongest martial artist today, but I will get stronger.
He's dead, bro. Bro is
Promise you
done.
that.
He got hit with a magic
know,
fist. Holy
You're
shit.
the only mortal I have ever met who could knock me down. That sword is something of much importance to me. As soon as the girl returns it, I believe you can keep it safe until our next duel. It seems I'm needed elsewhere. Thank you, Huai Tianpei, for the warm-up.
I'm actually kind of excited for.
I'm
Wait, that's how it goes. It's just your standard anime outro. God damn it. Cannot wait for the update to drop. Holy shit. And the official, they also have official cinematics as well, which are really nice. Damn. Actually, you know, since we will be playing... no, we can do it before the stream for the next one. Big Chong aura for actually just aura farming. Yeah, okay. So we will be playing through Here Are People's Souls on the 11th, which is going to be Saturday night, technically. I just got triple ads, bro. Why does it cluster them up like that? What the hell? That doesn't make any goddamn sense. Can you fix? What am I supposed to do, bro? It's YouTube. I can't do anything about that. Like, I have it set to lowest frequency as it is. I don't know. Yeah, okay, so we're gonna be doing that 11th. Tomorrow is going to be Atomic Heart collab. Or yeah, stream. There's no like at best I can offer is just fucking install actually does Adblock still work, or did Google finally manage to kill it? Because I know they killed it for Chrome at the very least. Or at least they're planning to, by just completely removing the requisite things for it. Aura. Damn. Okay, I think that's. I don't really have anything else planned. The videos took longer than I expected, which is kind of nice because I was kind of worried about what I would do aside after that. But oh, this guy's done a lot of shit actually. Holy. Does he have any other Arknight stuff? Oh, right. Gaul. What about Gaul? Wait, what about Gaul? I don't remember mentioning anything. When it was such a pushover. Oh, he actually worked on Ruby Volume 3. I see. 6 days of streaming. Yeah, I should. And I do want to pull up that one Enfield animation because it came up, and honestly I think it was really good. And it's really short. Oh, where is it? This one? It's this creator. No, it's not. This is just an aggregator. God damn it. I'm bringing a veterinarian gun. What does that mean? Oh, this is one. Bro, look at this shit. I mean, it's only like 30 seconds, but still, holy fuck. Look at this shit. Fucking sir. God damn it, sir. Deny delay defend. And then you need plausible deniability. The fucking Triagolos. It's like the first fucking boss in the game. Why are we aura farming on this shit? Okay. I think. Oh wait, there's another one. Okay, we can't get sidetracked. I need to rest. Okay. Tomorrow, reverse, day after Arknights. Day after that, Arknights, day after that, Arknights, day after that, Arknights. Okay. Is anyone online right now? I don't believe so. It is 6:30 in the morning for me. Kaze, I don't know Kaze though. I don't want to raid into him. What is he doing right now, actually? He's also doing Arknights, isn't he? The JP watch party, right? Because that's already out. Okay, yeah. Okay. We're not gonna be raiding. I'm just gonna go to bed. I'm going to bed. I will talk to you guys tomorrow, okay?